let the bass kick.
It's Monday, podcast, last cash homies. My son is in the corner on his damn iPhone. We gonna pass it to Will.
Podcast gold. What up? What up? What up? What up?
like
what
that.
up?
That was
okay.
That's a good intro. I'm really glad I pushed the red button when I did.
Oh yeah, you got it. Like I feel like anytime we start sitting down, it's
Everybody's got a talent, man.
anything.
Every once in a while, I fail on like the timing of the red button hit.
No, that was
solid.
That was
good.
I stuck the landing on that one for sure.
Boom.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
If you're waiting for the German judge,
What
you
is
did
it about
perfect,
that
yeah.
song too? Because I've got like video clips of you dancing to that at Ogwood.
Hey, that clip
I don't
won me
know.
some discs, man.
Yeah,
it
that's,
did.
that's
It
actually
did.
true. I
That's
forgot about that.
exactly
Wow.
right. So
That's, we did not plan that,
we did not.
folks. That's nice.
I was going to mention that at some point. We'll jump right into it. Welcome back to The Last Cash. This is episode 24. I'm Will.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Zach,
And-
a.k.a. Dr. Hoy.
Dr. Hoy. And joining us tonight is our pal, Chris Harris.
It's,
Golf snaps for Chris.
Snaps.
Chris has been playing with the club for the last year throughout the 2020 season. A lot of you guys know him, but you might remember early last year, I think it was in the summer, he won a giveaway on the podcast. He had to guess what song Dr. Hoy was dancing to at Ogwood during a bag tag, and it was Pony by Genuine, and he won himself some Trilogy Challenge discs.
nice.
Sure enough.
Yeah. So Chris is a friend of ours, a friend of mine, and he also is just an interesting cat. I enjoy your company, and we knew each other before I knew what you do for a living. I knew that you were involved in music. Chris plays guitar for Ashley McBryde. I don't know how I managed to go so long without knowing who Ashley McBryde was, but she's nominated for a bunch of Grammys right now. Her new record, Never Will, it just came out, right? Mm-hmm. And the title track was written by Mr. Chris Harris, our friend Chris.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, and there was
major.
you guys.
I knew it was big, but
super
damn,
big,
bro.
Yeah, and you were just on. You guys just played on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yep.
Your song.
Jimmy Kimmel. Yep. That was we did Jimmy Kimmel one time before, but it was really cool to have to be playing a song that I wrote on
That's
the show.
awesome, man.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like a different experience.
When
Yeah.
did that come on? Is it aired?
Like
Or-
last week. I was actually playing disc golf while it aired, so.
He was playing the W&T Glow Golf. Right?
Probably.
Priorities,
You know
guys,
what's funny?
priorities.
I've been on TV I know at least twice in the last couple of months, and both of those times I was playing Wednesday night tags while it was on.
CMA was that I remember you. We talked that night. You were like, "Yeah, I'm going to be on the CMAs tonight." I was like, "No way!
Yeah.
What are you doing here?"
What I like to do.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Get Chris's name up here. So yes, yeah. So Ashley has been doing real well. She's blowing up. And what a weird year for that all to kind of explode.
Yeah.
For you, because I mean, like, that's kind of part and parcel normally with becoming, like, finding success finally with music is you hit the road, you know. And
Right.
How long has music been a moneymaker for you?
I've had some sort of job playing music since I was 14. I played in some like acoustic like folk bands and stuff like that around that time when I was really young, while I was still in school, and then I went to college in Greensboro, North Carolina for music, but I got almost finished and I got offered a publishing deal to move to Nashville and write songs for a living.
Nice.
And so I went to the department chair at my college, and I was like, you know, what should I do? You know, if I do this, I'm not going to be able to finish this degree anytime soon. And he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I mean, I want to write songs. He's like, you should just go do that. So then I moved here, and it's been my only job for 10, 12 years now, something like that.
That's a good long haul.
Yeah.
Were you in music, like in college? Was that
I
your
was
major?
I was
department,
an
or?
entertainment technology major technically. So like it was really recording and live sound and that kind of. There were some artistic parts of it too. Like there was a songwriting class and all this, but it was primarily the entertainment technology part of it. But I made my living in college playing like frat parties and stuff like that. It was pretty nuts.
So you studied like engineering stuff, like you studied recording and all that. Okay.
And I remember none of it.
Yeah.
There will be a test right over here.
I'm the least tech savvy person you'll ever meet.
we need a guy to push buttons.
Well, I can point you in the direction of somebody that can.
Where did you go to school to study that?
College, Guilford Technical College. So it's like a community college with a music program.
Okay.
And it was all ran by people that like actual music business people. Like Keith Urban's tour manager was our department chair, and like everybody was involved with something. One of them was the engineer on the 9 Inch Nails records. It was really cool, but not a common thing, I don't think, for community colleges.
No, I mean there's a bunch of schools now that teach that where you can go and get some sort of certificate or something in recording engineering, and there's a bunch of them here in Nashville. But
as there should be.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you don't hear a lot about that being offered at community colleges.
Yeah, especially not outside of a music area. Like I mean, I'm from nowhere basically. So
yeah,
Where's nowhere?
I'm from Stoneville, North Carolina. Technically,
Okay.
Most of the time I say Eden, which is almost as ridiculous because
That's the
no
big
one's,
city.
Yeah, but my people say their town only has one stoplight. My actual town only had one stoplight, and it never even went red or green. It just blinked yellow all the time. It's like slow down in case there might be somebody nearby at some point, but there never was.
The town I was born in Nevada is pretty much the same situation where our Eden is Indian Springs.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was somewhere in Lebanon and got to talking to somebody. Lebanon. Got to talking to somebody in a store about how hot it was or something, and then the humidity and blah blah blah, your normal weather talk. And then I said, yeah, well, I'm kind of from out west, so the humidity, I'm not used to it, whatever. And she was like, yeah, me too, I'm from Nevada. And I was like, where at? And she said, Indian Springs. I said, oh, I was born in Tonopah. And she goes, I'm from Tonopah. I just always say Eden or Indian Springs because nobody ever knows where Tonopah is.
Nice.
A little point of reference for you.
I like it.
Tonopah sounds like a turtle.
Please comment below
I have
the
a turtle.
podcast.
I have a pet turtle.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
You're
His
a
name's
fan of
Shel
terrapins?
Silverstein.
No way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a perfect name. I have a cat named Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, love it.
And somebody told me that it was a missed opportunity to name him Neil Catrick Harris. I said, but we call him Doogie Meowser.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, I used to watch it growing up. Okay, it's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, good show. Yeah. Shout out to Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, for sure.
APH.
I don't think we're related, but it's possible.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be. I'll claim him.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Let me borrow some of your credibility, MPH. So you've been playing music for a lot of years. And how long have you been in Nashville?
I moved here in 2009. So,
Okay.
was that 11 years, 12 years, something like that?
Yeah.
I was told there'd be no mass.
Yeah.
I moved here right at the end of 2008. So that's pretty along the same timeline. And I started playing in 2013. So like not too long before you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally, I mean, so you have been on the road. You wrote for how long? That was like your main way you earned a living was writing songs and doing licensing, I'm assuming, for different people. And
Yeah. And I had like several. I never had any like significant cuts like that, and a lot of that is because the company that I was writing for was trash. But we won't go into that. But I wrote for a living for 4 years. I had a 5-year contract, but I got out of my contract in the 4th year. So
okay. And I imagine like being in a place like Nashville while you're making a living writing and doing and having licensing agreements and stuff like that, you're probably also playing out with various people, friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you play with any other touring bands before you started playing with Ashley?
I did. There were a lot. I actually ended up playing in a lot of bluegrass bands because
Okay.
I played mandolin and acoustic guitar and sang. So I played with Larry Cordell, Dale Ann Bradley, and Ronnie Bowman. A couple of those are other Grammy-nominated people. Not at the time when I was playing with them, but mostly that kind of stuff. And then a few other like upstart country artists that never really did anything. And actually, when I started with Ashley, I'd almost given up totally on being a musician. I was doing carpentry at the time. I was putting in trim and stuff. And she called me to sing on her record, and I did. And she was like, "Well, why don't you just come on the road and be in the band?" I was like, "Okay, oh yeah, I don't want to swing a hammer anymore." So,
All right, guys, I'm gonna quit unless I find a sign coming up next week, and then you get that call, and you're like, "Man, I'm glad she called."
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, how you spent a number of years on the road? I'm guessing then.
Yeah. And with Ashley, I started in, I guess 2016 was the end of 2016 is when I started with Ashley. And as far as having a really tight road schedule, the last couple of years before the COVID thing, it got to where, we're playing 180 dates a year or something like that.
Wow, living on the road.
Yeah, gone all the time. Like I lived on a bus.
Yeah.
All national dates or some international? Or?
We did a lot of international too. We did a whole tour of Europe for like a month-long tour of that. I mean, 2 or 3 other trips. Like they have the big sea to sea festivals, and we did Dublin and I don't know. We were in Scotland, Ireland, Switzerland, London, and it was a lot of it. It was those. I wish I could have had more hangout time on those. It's all kind of a blur because everything was like finish this show, jump on the bus, go to another country, and it was
No time to see the sights.
It kind of became a blur. But I did play to a pretty massive crowd in Dublin on my birthday a couple of years ago, which was really cool. And Ashley had the entire crowd sing happy birthday to me, and like I don't know if you've ever had 100,000 people sing happy birthday to you, but it's pretty cool.
It's a little cooler than having it done at Red Robin by 5 college students.
Yeah.
No, that's dope, man.
Nice.
So this year's super weird for you then, just kind of parked, not doing anything.
It is, and it's especially because we finished this record, the recording of it, before the COVID stuff, and it was just about. It came out right at the hit of all the COVID thing, and the year before had been a really breakout year for Ashley and for us. She won several awards that year, and we're Grammy nominated again, and so that was 2020 was really kind of like the big jump year it would have been for us, and we were in the middle of a tour. We were opening up for Luke Combs, and so there was a lot going on, and then all of a sudden there was nothing going on. So it's been a strange year, and if not for disc golf, I probably would have
Spinning your wheels.
I would have probably lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean a lot of people would say that for various sorts of circumstances.
And you've been winning a lot of CTPs, so you're probably making about the same amount. That
you know what? I've probably made, at least in the last month or so, I've surely made more money playing disc golf than I have playing
Hole 12
music.
has been real friendly to Chris lately.
yes. Every time the CTV's out there, he's like, I got it.
What's your go-to disc, bro?
My go-to disc right now. Mid-range. Mid-range Emac Truth.
Emac Truth?
Yep.
Boom.
I'm gonna tell you why I asked that. When I came in, I saw him. I was like, "Hey man, give him a good handshake." I'm like, "Oh shit, he has a firm grip." So I was thinking to myself like instantly, like, does that translate from playing guitar
to throwing or to my
just
grip?
Yeah, just a grip.
I think for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I've got really good dexterity in my hands, and I don't know how much it affects in disc golf, but I know that if you start playing music at a really young age, then the tendons in your hand don't grow together. So you tend to have more flexibility, better dexterity and flexibility, and I do, and I've always been a finger picker, so like I'm sure it affects it some. So
See, I always like asking that for mid range because with good grip, generally you can throw like slower discs better, straighter.
Yeah, and that's
So,
kind
is
of
it
my
like-
MO. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really carry anything over a 10-speed. Just 'cause
Tell us what's
you
in
see
your
what I
bag.
did? You see what I did
Nice.
there? You see?
Yeah, yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little bridge.
There's something else is
Little
going on up
bridge
here.
to
Okay,
Terabithia
I'm
there.
just little Brits.
that was great.
Yeah.
We need, I guess, yeah, we need to get more musicians in disc golf. I know we have a lot that play disc golf. But
Yeah.
do you have you talked to people you play music with about disc golf, and do they like, what the heck's disc golf? Or, whoa, you play frisbee golf, bro?
Most of them are just like that. They're like, whatever. And I mean, as we do, we talk about it a lot and tend to obsess over it. So most of the time when I start bringing it up around them, they're like, oh God, here we go.
When somebody doesn't immediately shut you down like that, then you're like, oh wait, okay, I'm gonna keep going.
But I actually got our monitor engineer. I got him into playing this year, so he's
Nice.
played some.
All right.
And strangely enough, I've run into people now like playing disc golf that I've toured with and things, and I'm like, I didn't know you played. Like Eric Heineken, in fact, he's Chase Rice's guitar tech.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've played some festivals together and stuff. I know I've seen him on the road before, and then we get into disc golf, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude.
Exactly. Hey, man.
Yeah, there's a guy, Matthew Ryan Doubt. He plays more with the MTDGA crowd, but he works for Mitchell Tenpenny.
Oh, Mitchell plays.
Mm-hmm. Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mitchell and I have talked. I've written with Mitchell a few times. He almost cut a song of mine once, but turned out to be too sad. But yeah, I've actually talked to Mitchell about it a few times. And funny, the only reason I knew he played is because Mitchell and I were playing the same festival a couple of years ago, and I had on a Jomez shirt. And he was like, dude, you play disc golf? I was like, dude, you play disc golf?
That's awesome.
Dude, bro.
You get another example of disc golf making the world go round.
Oh, man, it does.
When are we going to see a disc golf basket in a country music video? Or perhaps a song about disc golf?
I mean,
Or
as
the
soon as I
heartbreak.
make a video. I
Wait,
guess.
hold on, wait. First of all, it's really easy to make a song about disc golf.
Yeah.
I can point
I
out
don't
a few.
know. I'm pretty sure you guys will like remix any kind of song around here and just like put disc golf in the middle of it. It's gonna work.
I've toyed with it a few times.
I was
and
hoping.
every
So
time
I
I
was
do,
kind of actually hitting at you like, hey man.
I feel like your songs are drifting a little bit towards a certain theme, Chris. What's a putter? What's a mid-range?
what does grip lock mean?
If you guys have seen the I Hit a Tree Again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Why are trees?
Yeah, the production value of that is like really,
really
high.
good.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's really good.
impressed by that.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us what's in your bag. What are you
Okay.
rocking? Are you all trilogy? I know you're a big trilogy fan.
Mostly trilogy at this point. I'm not, and not because like, I'm not sponsored or anything. So it's not, I don't want to be like, I only throw this, but it's mostly trilogy just because I fell in love with it. And I fell in love with Latitude 64 because the first time I ever went into a disc golf store was Cloud9, and I went in and there's like all this beautiful gold line plastic, and I'm like, I want all my discs to look like this. So,
They have a certain look.
yeah. So now, I'm putting with crowns, the Trilogy Challenge crowns, actually the hybrid. I carry an EMAC Truth, a West Side Sling, and an Anvil, and a Bard, all West Side discs.
Mm-hmm.
I carry a Stag, 2 Felons, an Explorer, a Queen, an Enigma, and a Halo Thunderbird.
I found a queen once.
We got a funny story about a queen.
I beat you to it. Okay.
Is it a Cedar Hill story? or-
No, it's a front yard
front
at the
yard.
Sapphire
That's a
Lounge.
different. That's a different type of queen at Cedar Hill.
Yeah, definitely, man. I had a friend visit me one time, and he actually got to town the day before I got back off the road, and he plays disc golf as well. And he was like, "Where should I play? Until you get back." And I was like, "Dude, you should go play Cedar Hill." And I told him, I was like, "Park at 17. You go up a little further, park up there." And so he was up there putting, and this guy kept driving around the circle thing up there apparently, and he was like, I thought maybe he was, looking to get around in or waiting on somebody or something. So he stopped the car and was like, "Are you looking for somebody to play with?"
Oh, wrong thing to ask somebody at Cedar Hill.
Yeah, well, he
Driving
found out
around in
he
circles.
found out it was the wrong thing to ask. But
baby.
it's like, like, oh man, I should have warned you. Sorry.
Peter Hill.
Wow.
Man, we've seen some strange things there.
Oh god.
Stand away from that one.
Yeah. But what's your story? The story from here, the Queen.
Oh yeah, so I'll set you up, Marcus, and then you can take it away. Because one of the funniest parts of the whole thing was the setup. Because I was standing on like kind of closer to the front porch, and Marcus and Dr. Hoy were out in the yard, and Marcus bends over and picks up this disc, and he looks at Dr. Hoy, and he's like, and I can't really hear what they're saying, but I see him lean over, and he's like looking at Dr. Hoy, and he's like pointing out across the street, down between some houses, out towards the parking lot by the school down there.
You see the mountains over there, boy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, I bet you I could probably throw over that mountain right there. Well, he's pointing like, hey, I'm just going to throw it right through this gap, and we're just going to go right around there. And so he goes, and he snaps that thing, and I saw him throw it with the wing down. Well, that thing stands up, goes between the houses right where he meant to throw it, and then it just hooks up and starts sailing to the right. Sailing. Long
how does your Queen fly?
Yeah.
Downhill
It's my
down
roller
that street.
disc.
Huh?
It's my roller disc.
See what I'm saying?
It went between 4 houses. We lost
Yeah.
sight of it. I turned and looked at Marcus like, and then we heard, bang!
It was so loud.
Yeah.
It was so loud. The whole neighborhood heard it.
It would have been that loud if the disc would have hit the garage right next to where we were standing.
Yeah.
Like, it was that
Yeah.
loud. I was like, oh my God.
That wind tunnel right there, the sound just echoes and just like amplifies. And when it got to it was like louder than actual sound when it happened.
It was super loud. And I'm standing up on the porch, and I was just waiting for some people to come around the corner up the hill looking up here like, where'd that thing come from? And I knew they weren't going to think Marcus threw the Frisbee all the way down the street.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you mean, me?
I mean, not we're shattering stereotypes here at the Sapphire Lounge on the Last Cash podcast. But I mean, how often, like, if you didn't know anything about disc golf, a Frisbee came out of nowhere and smashed your garage, and you went up a hill, and you see a black guy standing there, and then there's a white guy standing there, you're probably going to think the white guy threw the Frisbee. It's just,
And the black guy's probably going to point to the white
and
guy.
that's why that's why we're trying to get more black people into disc golf.
What about the follow up? Did you any?
Yeah,
anything
what did you
about
throw the second? Was it a D2?
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to, I guess, MVP. Who's that? Where the Queen comes from?
Oh,
No,
it's
that's
West
a
Side.
West
West
Side.
Side.
Okay, shout out to West Side because the Queen is definitely a hyzer roll up. I can throw you really far if I got a real big tailwind kind of disc. But yeah, the D2 is much more stable. Yeah. Try throwing over your neighbor's homes with a D2 if you're going downhill. You know, something that you can trust.
That one went right where you wanted.
Did you ever get the Queen back, or did you ever hear any?
Oh yeah,
thing
so I went to
about
go look
from
for
the
the Queen
house, or-
the next day and found it right in the driveway. Literally in the dead smack middle of the driveway.
Yeah.
So it must have like made a right hand turn, like 90 degrees.
There might be a way to get people into disc golf. Put
Just
MusicCityDiscGolf.com.
I can
Bag
tell
of
you-
discs, launching it over his house in a neighborhood. Hey, guess what? We have disc golf.
I'm gonna start throwing some off stage. You know, maybe some Last Cash podcast putters, and I'll just sling them into crowds.
I'll give them to you, dude.
Can we get him some
Yeah.
minis?
There's a
Yeah.
story from Scott's book where he wrote on a disc, "Ha ha ha! I just hit you in the head," and launched it into a crowd. So we could do that. I'll sign it. Like, we'll all sign it and go, "Ha ha ha! We just hit you in the head,"
Yeah.
and we'll give it to you to throw off stage.
Nice.
That's awesome. But yes, so music, disc golf, you're throwing a pretty solid bag there as a fellow trilogy lover, I must say. I'm happy to see most of that finding a place in there.
The Queens.
Yeah,
The Queen putter. I put with a Queen putter before. It's good.
I know you just joined the PDGA this year.
I
Well,
joined
in
last
2020.
year. But
Yeah, that's still
this will
this
be my
year
first
to
full
me.
year.
Yeah, so you're still looking at playing some events and stuff. No real end in sight for the lockdown in terms of the life of a career musician.
No, not
this point.
yet. In fact, I just got news today. We had some tentative dates booked for March, and I actually just found out today that we're going to go ahead and postpone those too. So I know it'll be at least after March.
Man, that's a bummer.
It is, but I get to play more. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, is all the time off been like super weird?
it has,
Even though you've been kind of diving into disc golf.
it has been. It's been weird just because I'm so accustomed to having that as a part of my normal grind. It's like normally we leave at midnight on Wednesdays and I come back on Monday evening, and that would be a typical day, and then for that to all just kind of shut out. I've actually, it's probably been really good for me as a human being, because I've been reading more, I've been getting more exercise. I learned to cook and kind of fell in love with that too. Nice. So it's been a lot of benefits to it for having the time off. I'm also not drunk near as often as I was, but it's definitely been weird. I want to get I want my job back. I want to go back to doing that, but I'm just making the best of it.
Yeah. I think it's.
So that's pretty much basically like a year of being laid off, and I know that you guys have been very successful. But have you given any thought? And do you have the means to think about traveling and play some events this year?
Yes, absolutely. I've been lucky. It's lucky that things got as far as they did with the band before the COVID shutdown, because I've been really lucky that we've had some TV spots here and there in between, and those pay pretty good. So there's we had the CMA thing, there was a CMT thing, we did the Kelly Clarkson show, Ellen, and the Jimmy Kimmel thing. So those have fallen in line enough that I haven't had to go get another job yet.
Yeah.
But also I'll do some live stream things. I've done some recording for other people. So I've been able to, I've been making enough money that I could go play some touring events this year and stuff. And I want to, I love this sport, and I won't get to do that once this comes back up. I won't get the opportunity.
Dude, come to Kansas for DDO.
Okay.
Dynamic Disc Open.
We're going.
Dude, I would love to. I actually got to go. It worked out. 2019 Worlds, was right outside Chicago, and we were in the middle of a run then, but we had 2 days off in Chicago. So I actually went down and watched some of Worlds in 2019, and I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, that's great. And now you're going to have a national tour finale right in your backyard, so that's convenient.
Oh yeah.
I've always been kind of curious, because I can only assume, like you mentioned, that you guys are kind of taking advantage of the virtual online kind of opportunities that have kind of become available. I know a lot of musicians and entertainers in general have been making use of Zoom and other platforms to do stuff interactively and online with no contact. And, I assume there's some sort of way to monetize that and make that somewhat lucrative for you and the band. Definitely. There's ways to do that, and there's ways to do it solo too. I'll do live streams sometimes, and just put up my Venmo and PayPal and stuff, and look, if it's the same as tipping it at a bar. If you want to, you can. You don't have to. So there's that, and then YouTube videos. You can monetize those, and so I'm sure Ashley owns the rights to that stuff, and I'm sure that's helped her stay afloat through this whole thing too. But yes, in short answer, I'm sorry, I told you a long story to tell you a short answer. That's what we're on a podcast. We got a couple hours to do this. Yeah. So, yes, there are ways to monetize it and fill the gaps in between. And I've seen people get really creative. I know we've talked about my sister as a musician as well, and I know that she was a part of a project that a bunch of local people got involved with. It was a cookbook called Nothing But Thyme, but it was like thyme, the herb.
Oh, that's cute.
And and it was like Nothing But Thyme, and it was recipes from the grounded Nashville music community.
That's cool.
Or something like that. And so my sister put in my dad's his fried chicken recipe.
Nice.
Yeah, his fried chicken and gravy recipe.
I wish we had some of that right now.
Me too.
Kind of get hungry.
I was just saying, I come over here before eating dinner or anything, and then we always end up talking about food.
That's why you have kids.
We need one of those galactic crisps.
Make you dinner.
Man,
Thanks, son.
I probably should have started a lot earlier then.
Yeah, exactly.
Only advantage of starting early. Right now, taking advantage. Yes.
Yeah.
Early investment.
Yeah, I know there's also been the musicians on call. Like, I don't know if you, like, they play for health care organizations, like people that are in the hospital.
Oh.
And they do, like, streaming, but they also have people that were patients and they can, like, do a video or something like that. And I know they've had a lot of those at, like, HCA where you can basically go on this website and for a limited time you can watch these artists, like, play a song. And I know it's real popular around Christmas time, things like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I work at Vanderbilt, and at the Children's Hospital, they have a setup on the second floor, Seacrest Studios, and it's like a giant recording studio. They could do any kind of media from there, but they will have musicians come in there and play, and they broadcast that to, like, not only the rooms in the Children's Hospital, but other hospitals too.
Nice.
So that's
yeah,
cool.
I mean, medicine. I mean, we've had telehealth. I mean, everybody's trying to figure out how to get the internet, you know,
Yeah,
the live stream.
it's a new world, man.
And a lot of people, they like telehealth. I mean, the thing about medicine, like, you can't examine someone on telehealth, but parents, like, you know, they'll take a picture and you can, like, send a picture of a rash and they'll send that and they'll send a video and then the kid's just sitting there and then you're just talking. It's, like, not exactly the same, but it's got its own
Just
challenge.
call it WebMD Live.
Yeah, yeah, but it's, you know, everybody's trying to adapt to the.
Yeah, it's like you gotta have like a good phone.
Yeah.
I really can't tell with that phone. Is that a Samsung?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta have the iPhone 12. I'm sorry.
How many
Yeah.
megapixels is that?
Is that not enough?
You need some
megapixels?
cortisone cream and an iPhone.
You're in the wrong
Yeah.
mode. You're in live focus. You can't use that mode. You gotta switch it out.
Yeah, you need to have a doctor podcast now.
Hey, medical, like,
Dr.
I've
Cass.
actually, a lot of Mondays I do media interviews, and I've had the most media requests this year.
Mhm.
We have somebody in our company that just sends me like emails, like, all right, this time, and I always tell them, like, you know, Monday afternoons, but usually they end up, like, going, like, Monday evening. And I've had a lot of, like, newspaper articles and things like that, but it's still out there. Now, we've been talking recently a lot about the vaccination, so, and I don't know if I was just thinking about people traveling, like musicians traveling, you know, like international travel and things like that. You know, people that are traveling, they're around a lot more people, you know, crowds. And I mean, obviously right now, not crowds, but trying to look at the order of vaccination. You know, that's a big discussion right now. Is like, there's groups 1, and then there's like 1A1, 1A2, 1B1, 1B2, and like, where do the healthcare workers? I mean, healthcare workers are front line, those are most at risk, but trying to figure out where everybody else fits in, like grocery stores, retail stores, people that tour, sports, you know, like all this
It's
kind
kind
of
of like signing up for a tournament in Nashville area right now. You're like, wait
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, exactly. That is true, man.
Yeah, we got a lot of disc golfers around here these days.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, we had it
I mean,
Wednesday night tags last week. I think we had 45 people playing glow golf.
I'll go ahead and say this: I've got a new flyer for the weekly schedule, so I'll go ahead and throw that up there. Everybody can take a look at that for a moment.
Disc golf every day.
Here in Nashville, we play disc golf every day except Friday.
Yeah.
I think the edition on there was Agwood on Sunday at 2 p.m. I think that was a recent edition.
Well, that's actually I don't know
It's
about
a one-off thing, right? Because he's usually doing it at Cedar Hill. Isn't
yeah,
it Stone's
Stone
thing?
Yeah.
Stone and Shantae together doing the Sunday singles. Normally that is at Cedar Hill. It was at Ogwood this past Sunday yesterday, but it will be going back to Cedar Hill next weekend. So that is a new edition on Sundays. But you can see there's also Duck River Disc Golf has some stuff at Henry Horton. I think that's doubles on Sunday. Monday, Barfield Dubs. Holler at Russell Hammond about that. Also looks like, yeah, that's Sharp Springs doubles on Monday nights as well. Tuesday night doubles at Seven Oaks. Also, Triple Creek doubles and Woodland Park doubles in Columbia. Wednesday night, we got the Wednesday night Tag
Extravaganza
at Seven Oaks, 5 o'clock with
Ace
Dr.
pot.
Hoy.
I was
Eight,
hoping
eight,
I'd get
eight.
to do that with you guys.
Just
awesome,
check that
man.
one off
Yeah.
the bucket list.
We're
Yeah.
disc golf famous, bro.
We did it.
Yeah, the ace pot will be $888.
I'll be glad when somebody hits it so I can stop trying to get aces on Wednesday nights.
There's people that they're like, I'm not even playing. Don't keep my score. I'm just gonna drive on every hole. Give me a 7.
That's basically been how I've been approaching it lately, and my score reflects
But then we
it.
have people like Blake Burgess. He's shooting his best rounds at Seven Oaks.
Yeah,
ever.
Have you
in
seen that
golf.
dude jump putt lately? By the way,
Yeah,
it makes me mad.
Yeah,
It makes me so mad.
Blake, you're getting too good too quickly.
Yeah, take like a.
That's good though. Now I'm glad to see it.
We've also got Cedar Hill doubles and Duck River disc golf doubles at Henry Horton on Wednesday nights. Thursday night, White House doubles and Barfield doubles. Friday night, we've had some trouble keeping that slot filled, but take a break. Go hang out with your family. Saturday, we've got doubles at Seven Oaks in the afternoon, and we've also got.
Wait for it.
Disc and Disciples.
Here you go.
Wait, haven't you?
It
Did
says
you do
check
some-
UDisc for location.
Disc and
Oh, he's got it.
Disciples? Or
Yeah, I joined that sanction league that they got going on.
is that Saturdays or Sundays?
Sundays.
Les
Sundays?
Norwood.
Les Norwood is the TD of that event,
Yeah,
so
man.
holler at him and look on UDisc for the event location week to week. That's on Saturdays. So yeah, disc golf every day, guys.
And Friday, I think sometimes there is something at Two Rivers, but it's not always going on.
Yeah, there
So-
is singles or they do tags and stuff at Two Rivers from time to time, but you gotta watch Nashville Disc Golfers on Facebook for information on that. Ruthie will post that when they're gonna run it. What's your favorite weekly, Chris?
Wednesday night tags, man.
Oh, it's Day Night Tag Extravaganza.
Good
baby.
answer. Number one answer. 100 people surveyed. Top answers are on the board.
Is the WNC on the board?
Yeah.
But yes, so the WNT is also the designated location for pickup for trophies or tags or anything like that the club will be holding for you throughout the year. You can get those from Dr. Hoy on Wednesday nights at Seven Oaks, even if you can't stay for the round.
Although we are figuring out, we are in the process of determining how to have tags ready at a certain time at the end of the day on bag tag events this year.
You got a dedicated team of research specialists hard at work crunching the numbers.
Basically.
Basically, you're trying
Yeah.
to figure out how bad it's or if it's worth you staying up and leaving the course at 10 o'clock every Wednesday night.
Well, no.
Oh, you're
just
talking about
getting-
the bag tag events.
Yeah, the bag
Okay,
tag
I
events.
gotcha.
Trying to, I know a lot of people can't make Wednesday night tags, so that's like shipping and trying to.
Did I see something? Why did I feel like I saw you guys say something about the possibility of maybe digitizing tags so that it was like not a so that
We had been tossing
Yeah.
around some different ideas. There's
There are
was-
digital league.
Yeah, my buddy Jesse Cheadle in Augusta, he has been using. They actually have a league function through Disc Golf Scene, and they have they incorporate a virtual tag system along with that. And so, like, you can go look at the Disc Golf Scene page for the league, and there's like a leaderboard right there that you can see who's holding what tag and all that stuff. But it's out basically. The only way it stays up to date is if the people who go out and play each other for tags actually go to Disc Golf Scene and report that they played for tags and exchanged them. You know what I mean? And it works for them because the tags are only virtual. It's virtual only. So if they want to have any kind of recognition or earn any kind of incentive for having a lower tag, they got to go report it. Whereas it's hard to figure out a way to do it some sort of hybrid way where it's physical and digital. Like we talked about, would we possibly do a virtual set just for the bag tag series events and then still have physical tags that people could, it's just.
Yeah, I was just curious about that. I mean,
I get it.
super
It's a
old
good
school.
opportunity
I
for us
like
to explain
having
it.
the tag, and I'm also
Everybody does.
not tech savvy at all. Like I can sort of use my phone, but
We did an informal poll, and that was we got some of the same information where it's like people want to hold that one tag. Or hold the the
would be
better
nice.
tag. Well, yeah,
Well, they also like to take a picture of it.
yeah.
Maybe in bed, sleep next to it.
Yep.
Did you do that or?
I've had the one tag once or twice, but no, I never slept with
Yeah.
it.
Well, I remember Rodney had the one tag, and he was like out on his porch last year because he played MP40, but he beat every pro MPO as well, And he's just sitting there smiling on his porch with the one tag.
If you ever see me with the one tag, then somebody's mad that I stole it from them. I promise, because I didn't win it.
I used to always show up at the first event of the year early so I could pull the bag tag, the one tag out of the box and take a selfie with it. And then put it back in.
I'm holding the one tag.
Or last year or the year before, we had the guy move away after he won the one tag at the first event. We had to replace the one tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bag tags, we're going to try to figure out a way to say like they'll be ready by the end of.
That's unfortunate, man, when that happens.
What?
Tags moving away. Disappearing.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'm saying like after the bag tags, we're going to try to have a time when you can come back. I mean, most people live far enough away where they don't want to come back. So.
Right.
They should bring a self-addressed envelope.
Yeah.
People can't even sign on to UDisc, man.
Oh, man.
You tell somebody that we're going to do
Bring
digital
it.
scorecard, and they're like, my phone's only at 78%.
The difficulty with the tags, man, and I've said this many times, but like the tags are the bread and butter of the club, the bag tags. That in general is just like the mainstay, the portion of the club. But it's also like the biggest difficulty, the biggest hassle, because
it's a lot.
You're either doing everything for everybody and you know, not like we did this year where it's like we're doing tea times, so we're not going to give tags back at the end of the day. We're going to have them at the next event, then you give them back out after the event, blah, 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 blah. Or you have to do something that involves some participation on their part.
Yeah.
Like we've tried sending tags to the store, and then it's like just piles of tags sitting at the store constantly. Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't have my tag." It's because and that was at the time when we were giving tags back out after the round, and nobody would stick around. It was like half the people would stick around to get their tag back, and so you just end up holding half the tags anyway. Super frustrating. It's like you guys are so like anal retentive about your tags. Like, where's our tag? When are we going to get our tag? But I don't have my tag. Where's my tag? And it's like, but you can't. Yeah. Or if you have to leave, then you can't like talk to somebody that's going to be around and just say, hey, could you get my tag for me? I'll get it from you later.
Yeah.
Like, what's so hard about that? Jeez.
Well, we started just doing like whatever tag we got in the bag for you. And so you'll get the 200 tag if you forget to pick it up.
Yeah.
And if you really earn the 2 tag, then that'll probably make you think about sticking around.
Yep. I trust that it's in the right hands with you. Dr. Details will figure it out.
Well, hey, it's
I have faith.
Ruth Miller is our membership officer, so she's got some ideas too about.
Ruthie is the bee's knees, yeah, for sure.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah, I'm excited for the first event though. I'm signed up to play in MPO.
Yep. Boom.
E1.
Shakalaka.
28 holes.
28 holes.
28 holes at 7
21 regular holes and 7 alternate holes.
That
will be the tee pads are kind of marked. There's a pink flag in the ground from the Freddie Gibbs Memorial, but Marcus and I are gonna set the tee pads out and maybe paint a line across, or like just to make sure people all know the same.
Yeah, and
but all the baskets are in place on the 7 alternate holes.
Yeah, so you guys can go out and practice it. And for everybody that was at E1 last year, calm down. It's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
I know that was like a 6-hour plus round, E1 of 2020. Yeah. And that was 188 players signing up day of.
Wow. Yeah. We had an extra 2 hours of sign up, and we had some sixums on there. We had 31 holes because we had to put an extra hole on to get another 6 people in. And so this year we got AMs on Saturday, February 6th, pros on Sunday, February 7th.
Tee times, pre-registration only.
Everybody starts at hole 1.
Yeah.
Original. And foursomes, so it'll flow.
Yeah, and I think we're probably looking at more like a 3.5 hour round, 4 hour round.
Yeah,
I think that's probably reasonable. Yeah. So, because we played 21 holes yesterday, and it was like 2.5 hours, something like that. So, gonna be good. This is a good time to explain. You know, it's 2 sides of a coin. One, you have to be a member of Music City Disc Golf to participate in the bag tag series. But on the other side of that coin, we will never turn a member of the club away that wants to play in one of those events. We've always said that. Now, when we say pre-registration only, if you show up trying to sign up the day of, you're most likely not going to be able to play unless you just feel like hanging out for a while if there's room to add a card on the end or something weird like that. If you can be super flexible, you know, we will do everything we can, but you guys really need to sign up day of. for all of the events from now on. Because
Pre-reg,
we're
you
doing,
mean?
yeah,
Not day of.
pre-registration.
Yeah.
Sign up ahead of time is what I
Yeah.
mean. Because, then you're going to be one of those people that's asking every 15 minutes, when are tee times going to be up? Well, people don't sign up online and they wait until the last minute and then they want to get added after you've already been working on tee times. Then you add them and then you got to go back and rework all the tee times and it just pushes it further and further back. So for those of you that are not in the know on that process and how that works, when it takes a long time to get tee times up, it's because for some reason we are not able to get them up. Most of the time it's because late additions or
Right.
some other circumstance that's beyond our control.
And since we have so many people this year and last year as well, we can't really accommodate too many. I got to play at this time. You have to play. We're going to have divisional tee times. We're going to run the same order each bag tag. And so if you're an MA4, you have to play during the MA4 times.
Right.
You can't be moved to a different day. You can't be moved to later in the day. It's going to be, we'll get you in there, but that's what we can offer.
Yeah, and that's just going to have to be the way it is because we had one person that played in MPO that got to play on an AM day at the championship.
Right, yeah.
And the weather was
Total.
night and day
Conditions
different.
were very different.
Yeah.
And it's,
We try to be really accommodating for you guys. We want as many people as possible to be able to participate in this stuff. But you got to work with us a little bit,
it's a good problem to have. It's because we got so many members. We got to keep it more flowing,
And the process that we have established and the way that we do things is the way that it is because we've tried different things and this tends to be the best way. And when we make a change or a special accommodation for somebody, there's somebody else that gets affected by that or it has an effect that works in a different kind of opposing way later down the line. So just understand, I've said it before, half of this is the TD's responsibility, half of it is the player's responsibility. So take some responsibility for your actions, understand the way tournaments work, do some research, and be a good, reasonable, ethical, responsible player of tournaments. If you're going to show up.
bro.
I know.
We have high standards, but we will also fight for you.
I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. So, what do you think, Chris? You want to play us a little ditty?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got us.
I mean, I did bring this guitar.
Let's get you.
Do we record? No recording?
Oh, definitely recording.
All right. Are we good? Everybody hear everything, right?
I think you sound great.
All right.
What are you gonna play for us, buddy?
I'll play. I wrote this song with a buddy of mine, Kalen Garner, several years ago, and it's kind of been like my. I basically play this at anytime I do a solo show. So I'll just. How many teardrops can a pillow hold? How long can my eyes raise the tide before the dam is broke? And how many rivers must I cry my way through before I'm over you? How many sad songs does a jukebox know? Does he sing them all? 'Cause his heart is broke. Oh, I feel like he's a foresight of what I might turn into before I'm over you. How many paces can a floor stand? How many ways can a door slam? Oh, if these walls could walk, Well, I'm sure they leave me too before I'm over you. How many times can I find a way to stay in the state and the shape I'm in? How many times must I wake up to find that it's starting all over again? And how many teardrops can a pillow hold? I feel just like that jukebox. His heart is broke. Since these walls can't walk, they'll crumble like I do before I'm over you.
Snaps.
Impressive.
Golf snaps for Chris. Dude, that was badass.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
That was good, man. It was,
I'm chilling. I
The-
got
so-
chills.
yeah. That was kind of the first Sapphire Lounge.
That is the first ever musical
recording.
performance
That's,
on the Sapphire Lounge.
that's a high bar.
Just pop the cherry.
Proud
That's
to
a
be
high
on
bar.
You're the first one.
As a podcast listener.
That's
you know,
awesome.
Man.
I'm proud to be on.
Dude, making
Yeah.
history, making podcast history. So one more again. What was the name of that? Over You?
That was called How Many?
How many? And who was it by?
Me.
That's you. You wrote that?
Yeah, me
Dude.
and my buddy Kalen wrote that.
Man, yeah.
Dude, you've got your writing chops, man. For
Yeah.
real, no joke.
Thanks,
like,
man.
You and I know, and maybe because we're gonna have you play again before the end of the show, but maybe on one of the songs you play on the before we're done, we'll play that Never Will.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
plan on it.
I don't know how the rights work. I don't know if you're allowed to play that.
I wrote it. I
Yeah,
can write
okay.
it. I can play it anywhere I want.
Like, I hope you didn't sell that, dude, because, sell it all the way, because that's a great song. I remember I saw you post that the other day, and I watched that clip of you guys playing it on Kimmel, and, man, I was just like, this is a fantastic song.
Thanks.
It was
man.
very, very well
Thanks.
written. Very good song. So I'm looking forward to getting to see that live.
Yeah,
In a
it's-
time when there's no live music. Guess what?
Live at the Sapphire Lounge,
You-
baby.
You know what you could do? You could play disc golf and have a podcast. And then you
Yeah,
can get to see some live
exactly.
music. Boom.
There you go.
I'm gaming the system.
Yeah.
I'm taking y'all with me.
I'm
And
ready.
you guys too.
Let's go.
So, yeah, we're going to take a quick break. Let everybody stretch their legs, check their phones, all that good stuff. And we'll be back here in just
I'm going to read these. Oh, Jeff is going to hold these lyrics for me. I wrote this with my buddy Doug. Stiffen up your upper lip and let that shit roll off your back. It ain't the end, it's the beginning of the second chapter. And after it's over, no more than you did before. So bolt up the doors, and lock up the windows, and be ready to weather the storm. 'Cause the rain don't choose who it falls on. If you're the only one standing when the wall's gone, it's gonna get lonely. Remember, it's only just water and wind, and the sun is gonna shine again. Oh, 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 the sun is gonna shine again. Oh, oh, oh. So stand and face it, just embrace it, and you'll be alright. It isn't easy, no one said you're gonna come out dry, but that's life, and you survive and just fight for another day. It won't be the same, but you got the pieces, put new pictures in the broken frame. 'Cause the you're the only one standing when the wall's gone, it's gonna be lonely. Remember, it's only just water and wind, and the sun is gonna shine again. Oh, 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 the sun is gonna shine again. Oh, oh, oh.
Short ones matter.
Part 2 of the podcast starts right now. Knight Rider, really? You guys are missing out if you don't know who Knight Rider is. I'm just putting it out there.
Throwing it on back
The Hoff.
on the last cash.
Don't hassle the Hoff.
Yeah, don't hassle the Hoff.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
I'm might be in the next
I'm just
cheeseburger
kidding
video.
you, okay? Just kidding with you.
Yeah. Hey, kid, there's some kids in the pool over there.
Launch me out of the seat so I can jump down on them.
Lassie's in the well.
What's the matter, girl?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good break. We talked about Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
Trekkie.
We checked it out.
Found out that Chris is a fellow Trektacular.
He knows how to do the thing.
He does the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like
Live long
The
and
old
prosper.
Spock.
as I look around the studio, I feel like something's different. than when we went to break. Anyone else?
Yeah, we had intermission
It's all this
and
drip going on
intermission
right now.
and
Yeah, exactly.
wardrobe
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Sure.
He's
Courtesy
getting
of
ready for
Marcus.
his next Bart Durham.
Button it once.
There's no way that guy's allowed right now.
You gotta bring the picture up. Like, you just already reaching to his pocket.
Oh yeah, I'm
Did you
bringing
see,
out.
did you
Bart
see the Holly
Durham.
Finley episode or listen or hear it?
I haven't yet. I hadn't seen that one.
We had this whole thing where there was a moment on the show where Holly and Marcus realized they had both done a Bart Durham commercial.
That's great.
Dude, the short hair. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
Text me that picture so I can throw it up in the
Yeah.
break. So everybody that's here listening to the show, go and watch the YouTube, find the break, and you'll see a picture of Marcus in a Bart Durham commercial. So what's your favorite course, Chris?
Okay, so my favorite course is Cedar Hill, and a lot of that's because that's where I played the most when I was first starting. I was just telling you guys before, I just played Buckner Park for the first time a few days ago, and I love that place.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's such a hard question, man, because like I feel like I can't have a what's my favorite course conversation without mentioning Ogwood.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a different. I mean, I totally get why you feel weird in
I feel
that situation.
attached to Cedar Hill. Like I feel like that was kind of the birth of my love of disc golf, was that place. And
Nice.
But if Cedar Hill's your home course, you're gonna be a good golfer.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know right now. Like, there's a couple courses out there. Like, if that's your home course, then you're gonna play substantially much better, I guess, over the
Yeah.
long period of time than most golfers. Because if your home course is Seven Oaks, chances are you probably throw 350,
Yeah.
400. You know, but if your home course is Crockett or like a Cedar Hill, you know, you're throwing much further. And if your home course is Buckner, then you're probably lifting weights.
Probably pretty good.
Yeah,
Strong.
lumberjack.
Yeah, the weirdness for Ogwood, I think, is because it's not like a super challenging course
but it's
on the
just still
surface.
so good.
Yeah, like and people like whenever I think about what's my home course, I'm at Seven Oaks the most.
Yeah.
But I feel like if any course is home, it's Ogwood
Right.
for sure. But yeah, so Cedar Hill is definitely a good place to cut your chops. You mentioned earlier in the show that you got your bag when you first started playing from Cloud9.
I
Back when
did.
Cloud9 was still open.
When it was going out of business is when I bought my bag, my grip bag.
Which I'm trying to place that in a timeline, and I want to say they went out of business like towards the end of 2015 or beginning of 2016. Because
Which location?
this was well they were at
Next to Cedar
they
Hill.
were at the one by Cedar Hill
okay.
because the Rumble at Ravenwood was in 2014,
Okay.
and it wasn't too much longer after that the store shut down. I want to say it was like maybe at least a year, so could be like end of 2015.
I
beginning
moved
of
here in
2016.
2015 September, and it was gone.
Well, see, I remember the store
when I
being
got
out
here.
Okay,
at
so
Sanders
2015.
Ferry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their location was originally
Cloud9 was it Sanders?
Yep,
Yep.
Sanders Ferry Road on the left hand side in the shopping center,
Did
blue
you play
building.
on their like the Cloud9 team
Yeah.
at some point?
Yeah, I got the picture. Yeah,
Dude, I thought so.
Is that where you got that blazer?
I've been around for a long time, bro.
Is that where you got that blazer?
I hope so. Like
Cloud9
every
blazer?
disc.
Win an event with
It's the
Cloud9.
blazer.
You
Yeah,
get the
I got the insole right here, right next to the Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh, you had to. Hammer don't hurt
Did it
him.
right?
Hammer don't hurt him.
You the one said it, right?
Hammer
Not
don't hurt
me.
him.
Hey, drip don't quit, man.
But like, it seems like every golfer, like no matter if you're like Holly Finley, me and her, with Bart Durham, like I make some kind of like connection like with golfers, and
Right.
I was part of the original Cloud9 team that had like Logan Bowers on it, Dan Sisk, like it was
Yeah. Nice.
Rena
Johnson.
Johnson was on it as well. It was like a long time. We played at not Farm Fresh, but Mac Farmer's house.
Oh yeah, the
Wow.
Coyote Creek
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Coyote Trace.
Long
or
time ago, bro.
whatever.
I'm talking about,
Coyote
I
Creek.
go way back with disc golf.
Yeah.
It's my heart.
It's so funny. Like
I heard you grew up right across from a disc golf course.
Oh man, that story. Yeah, disc golf has literally been in my genes for a long time. My grandmother's house is like literally across the street from a disc golf course, and I had no clue until I came to Nashville and I found disc golf. And then somebody said about Morningside Park, and I know that Morningside Park is literally across the street from my grandmother's house. So I could have been playing with Shoestrick for I don't know 6 or 7 years before coming to
What could have
Nashville.
been?
Yeah.
It's so funny because every episode, literally, like it doesn't matter who we have on the show, and I would say by average, hands down, Marcus probably has the least amount of lines and words in the show. he gets the fewest words in edgewise on the show, but every episode there's some random thread of connection between him and the guest. We'll be talking about all kinds of random stuff, and Marcus will be quiet and listening and all that and stuff. Yeah, you remember this tournament at this course in this state and this year? And he's like, yeah, I played that. We both played in advance in that year. And I played with you. I remember. Oh, I do remember you. And it's him and Holly Finley. We both did a Bart Durham commercial. It never fails. It always happens. Yeah.
Smart world.
Marcus is the man of a million faces.
I'm still ready for more experiences out there.
Yeah, I like it.
This year, it's been a good year.
You said when you started at Cedar Hill, was that what year was that? So the Cloud 9,
2015.
It was probably. Let's say my roommate got me into disc golf, and the first place I actually played was Sanders Ferry.
Okay.
And I stopped. My buddy had told me about. My roommate had told me about disc golf for a week or two before that, and he's just going on and on about it, and I'm like, God, that sounds so stupid.
Yep.
But I love games. I love darts and horseshoes and all that stuff, cornhole. I love those. So finally, he talked me into it, and he was like, you can just use one of my discs. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm going to stop and buy some discs. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to get it. So I stopped at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I bought a Star Katana and an AVR.
Great first driver. 14 speed.
Yeah, I get out I watched them throw, and I mean, no, they were not good either. They had
so you cut somebody's head off your first round.
Well, I get up there, and I've been, I'm athletic. I played golf and I played basketball in school, and I've always liked sports and things. So I'm like, I know, I get it how to do this, and so I take that Katana, hole 1 at Saunders Ferry, my first drive, and I just reach back and I throw it as hard as I can. It goes straight up in the air and straight down 80 feet in front of me. And and after that, once I failed at it right then, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get good at this for the rest of the day. I basically just threw the putter because I could throw it kind of straight, and then I went home and I'm Googling disc golf because this is the first time I've ever known anything about it. So I'm looking up disc golf, and I find I think Disc Golf Course Review was what I was using then, and I looked and I was like, oh, there's a course right down the street from where I lived. I lived in Madison, and it was Cedar Hill, and so I go over there to play, and I was like, this is impossible. You can't par this course. This is insane. And then I just started going there kind of every day. I forget what I feel like I just completely jumped subjects right there.
No, that's
that
I was wanting the origin story kind of how do you, because I think I first met you middle of last year.
Yeah.
Middle of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have that similar experience. I know for me, I was into disc sports and disc activities all my life. Me and my mom's old man, when I was growing up, we used to always throw Frisbees. He was an old freestyle guy. And then in high school, I was on the track team through discus. College, played some ultimate. But yeah, there was when people would ask me, let's go play disc golf, I'd be like, that sounds dumb.
Yeah, I thought it was so stupid.
And it was always around too. I remember I worked for this little small computer shop, ISP, in Arizona. And the owner was the president of the White Mountain Disc Golf Association. He was the president of the local clubs. There was disc golf stuff all over the shop, and he would talk about it all the time. And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds dumb. But then it when it happens and you fall in love with it, and it's just what have I been missing my whole life,
Oh yeah.
What was it about it that struck you? What was your aha eureka moment that hooked you?
And also, how many aces do you have?
Okay.
And also get that mic right.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You're good.
You'd think what I do for a living, I'd know how to work a mic.
I jinxed you though because right before we went live, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be great to have somebody that has some mic control experience.
It's
and then he sits down and he starts talking and he's like, oh yeah. Man.
It's a testament to how comfortable it is here.
Sure.
I'm just having conversation.
The guest experience is a good one.
I like it.
It's positive.
What was the first question?
What was did you ask a question before I said what was your
aha moment?
moment? And then how many
okay.
aces? So my aha moment was actually in that first round, and it was the second hole that goes over the water, because I didn't play the first hole over the water. I'm like, I'm only throwing my putter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can't do that. So that second hole over the water, I had the only good throw of that day, and I threw my putter to 15 feet from the basket or something like that, and I hit the putt, and that was my first birdie, and I'm hooked. And then to to even further extent, like when I went and played Cedar Hill, I got to hole 17 and just got to launch one, you know, and see that flight down through there. That was a big one. And so aces, I have 4.
Oh wow!
Technically 5, but one of them was from a re-tee. But 2 at Cedar Hill and 2 at Seven Oaks. My first ace was hole 8 at Cedar Hill with a rock 3. The short position.
Okay.
Hole 8. My second ace was hole 17 at Cedar Hill, and it was a skip from like almost right there at where 18's tee pad, or where the walkway to 18 is. My disc hit there and took the wildest skip and just smashed right there.
That's awesome. 17 at Cedar Hill is a good one to get.
Oh, dude, that's like my favorite hole too. That's my signature hole, if there is one for me. And
was that the Felon or Explorer?
No, that was a Latitude Flow. Actually.
Okay.
Flow.
Yeah. And funny story, like I was on the phone for that one on 17. I was on the phone for my card mates were like waiting on me for like 15 minutes because I was on the phone with a manager because I was trying to get out of a publishing deal. Yeah. And she had let me know, she had called me to let me know that she had got me out of the deal, and like I was so excited, and they had been waiting on me. I didn't look at what I grabbed. I just grabbed a disc and slung it. And I aced it. I was like, this is the coolest 5 minutes of my life right here. I just got out of a deal I didn't want to be in.
Here we go now.
And then
Seven Oaks.
And I've aced hole 8 at Seven Oaks on the raised basket, the longer position, and hole 4 at Seven Oaks.
Nice.
Yeah, I've aced hole 4
twice.
twice.
It's 4. Hole 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
the one everybody aced.
I've got 2 on 5 at Seven Oaks. 2 on, 1 on 8 at Seven Oaks, 1 on 16 at Ogwood, and 1 on 17 at Short Mountain, Red Apple.
Nice.
But one of mine was unwitnessed, which people say doesn't count. I'm of the mindset that like if you throw from the tee pad and it goes in the basket, you can count that in your list of aces.
I'm going to stop you right there because I threw from the tee pad, and my first ace was actually at Sandersbury.
My first one was unwitnessed. It was solo.
And I hit the ace on the flick shot, and it spun around, and had so much spin that it jumped out.
Wow.
Oh, man, that sucks.
So my first ace was not really an ace.
My first ace launched a criminal investigation in the city of Nashville.
Wait, is this true? I got it.
Yeah.
I gotta know this.
If you have, it's they used to do Saturdays at Shelby. Shout out to K-Man. And I'd never aced before at the 555 ace spot. He would always talk about this. And we were doing singles, and I was playing with Mike McDaniel and this other guy, Donnie. Not Donnie Bannister. And we're on hole 5. Or wait, that's the one that goes down. I think 3 is across 4. Yeah, I think it's hole 5. And or hole 6. Which one's the one that kind of goes down in a little cove along the...
I think you were talking about 6.
Yeah. Hole 6. I had my McPro Rock 3, and I had worked the night before, and I just decided to come out. And it was funny because I was like, is this where there was like a league? Like, how much is the entry fee? I was that guy. Like, I was the first one. It was like, K-Man's like, yeah, you just put in a disc, man. And, it's like, man, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Bringing the energy. And so I aced and, got really excited, jumped up, and it was awesome. And so then he gave me the ace spot, and it said 555 on there. And because I had to work that night too, I went home. I didn't even count it right there. Went home. I had the picture of me at the thing. Went home, counted it that night, and there was only $250 in there. And we're like, uh-oh. And there were no hundreds and 50s. And he was like, K-Man. I called K-Man, and I was like, I know this sounds weird because I just counted my ace spot. And I'm like, that guy, like, hey, I didn't count it, and I only have half of it. It's like, do you believe me? Or like, this is my first time ever going out to this league. I hit the ace spot, and there's only half of it. And he's like, I don't know, man. There was hundreds and 50s in there, and when I looked in it, there wasn't. And so, somebody must have taken the money out or something. Like, we never figured out what happened, but he submitted 2 photos of me holding up a 555 ace spot to the police. And they went through, and it's like, it was actual, like, he's like, well, this guy was closer. And it was like, the people you would know, like, nobody that you would expect. Right. Like, nobody, the disc golfers that were hanging around, it's like, I don't think anybody would have stolen it and then stood around and posed with me, like, with the ace spot. But that taught me a lesson. Always count your ace pot when you when you get paid? Or?
Well, and it was funny because I remember when it went down, and K-Man is the kind of guy, he's like super sincere and sensitive and hard on your sleeve type of cat, and I love him. But, you know, working with the club, if something like that were to happen at a club event, it's like you don't draw a bunch of attention to it or make a big scene out of it. You pay out the rest of the money and then set about trying to figure it out if you can.
Right.
And K-Man, you know, was...
He called me up.
He was very offended and hurt that somebody had taken that money, and he made a post on Facebook about it and drew a bunch of attention to it. And I was kind of like talking to him like, man, now it's like a big dramatic thing. But he, you know, and I remember it drew attention to you and suspicion to you because nobody knew who you were.
Yeah, he called me up. He's like, you might want to respond to this Facebook post. And I was like, what Facebook post? He's like, well, people are asking questions about you, and like, I was like, what? And so I responded, and they're like, oh, I see on this guy's Facebook profile, he's a doctor. He doesn't even need that money, man.
Yeah.
Like we were investigating my Facebook profile 'cause nobody had seen me around before.
There were a bunch of people that were like,
guy,
nobody
man?
knows this guy is. And like, well, that's kind of odd that like this is the first time it ever happened.
Yeah, I got like 180 comments on the Facebook post.
So yeah, big deal. So now fast forward, because what year was that? 2016, 2017, something like that?
2016, I think.
2016. So now fast forward to 2018 Music City Open. So most of the time when you're running tournaments, somebody comes up and volunteers or asks, you know, to help. It's like you have to orient them and tell them what to do. Like they come up and they're like, what can I do? Or how can I help? And you have to give it, you know, you have to sidetrack yourself from what you're doing to get them set up.
Yeah. So
I remember immediately I knew I was dealing with somebody a little different. I knew I was dealing with an outlier because Dr. Hoy approaches us. He approaches me and Jay, and he goes, I would like to run tee times for a pool. Basically like the most important job of the event. And he's like, I would like to do this. And me and Jay kind of looked at me, and I was like, okay. And I was like, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And Dr. Hoy walks away, and Jay was like, are you sure we can just like let him run a pool tee times? And I was like, dude, he seems pretty sure he can pull it off. And I was like, you know, we'll probably have to set him up and get him the list, the spreadsheets and all that stuff. And so we'll just plan to do that and everything. And we'll talk to him and bring him in on all the posts and the chats and stuff. So the first day of the tournament, we show up. We think we're early. We think we're the first people there. We get up to 17 at Cedar Hill. And there's already a tent set up there behind 17's tee pad. We go walking up there. He's already got a tent, a table, his own printed out spreadsheet of all the tee times, all the groups. He's got a digital clock on the table. He's got all of his supplies and everything right there.
Yep.
And I was like, oh boy. And Alan, I remember at some point Alan saw it, and he saw what Dr. Hoy was doing, and he told me and Jay, he was like, don't ever let him go. And
so from the 555 A spot.
So I'm going to wrap this all back into circle here. So into the tournament, a couple days to recover. I post a bunch of pictures, and one of the pictures was a group photo of all the staff at Ravenwood at the last night of the tournament. After you guys threw that cooler water on me, and and I remember I had posted it, and Derek Savory, the sponsorship coordinator at Dynamic Disc in Emporia, he texted me and he was like, holy shit, you know Doc? And I was like, I know a few people named Doc. Who are you talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about. He says, Zach Hoy. And I was like, oh yeah, he just like showed up out of nowhere and ran a pool tee times for MCO and did it like a boss. We weren't off schedule at all the whole time. He tells me that, well, you guys worked together in the Greater Rochester Flying Disc Association in Rochester, New York, which that's how Derek ended up getting his job at Dynamic Disc. He ran that club, which is one of the big clubs in the country, and ended up moving to Emporia to take over event sponsorship and stuff. So it's super interesting and all that. And then I remember after I had that conversation, it was like much longer after that, I realized that you were the $555 ace pot guy. And I was like, that was you? You're like, yeah, that was me. I was like, and then at that point we were like good friends. And I was like, man, that's started from the bottom. Now we here.
That's right.
Everybody in Nashville thought you were robbing them blind for about 15 minutes, and then now you're running the club, PDGA medical committee, hosting a podcast. Look at you go, Dr. Hoy.
It was set up in Rochester. We had the 2014 National Tour finale in Rochester, New York in 2014. And if you want to watch some good video, go back and it's on YouTube. And I'll tell you, it comes down between a battle between Simon Lizotte, a even younger Simon Lizotte, and Dave Feldberg.
Oh, wow.
And it's also, Macbeth was up there, Ulibarri, and it was a national tour finale. Like, we had everybody up there, and it was a great event. And that's my first, because somebody was like, we need somebody to announce tea times. I'm like, I'll do tea times. And I got into the habit of like, all right, come on over here. And they're like, man, you guys are, because everybody always comes up and like, how far are you guys off schedule? Like, that's the first question. All the pros, they show up to like start putting. They're like, how far are we behind? I'm like, we're exactly on time. They're like, no.
No, wait. No, I mean, like,
because that first year I was like,
it's okay. You can
I was like,
tell
Zach
me.
Melton, it's time. I'm like, Zach Melton. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be over there in a second. I'm like, no, I'm about to call out your name.
Like right
You got
now.
30 seconds. And then he comes over there, sits down, and I just called his name. He's like, oh, who's up? I'm like, you, man. Dude.
He's a good guy.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of good moments
The
from
characters
that
of
tournament.
disc golf, man.
Oh, dude.
That's the beauty of it.
Oh, I'm going to give out. Here he goes.
What?
We need a disc golf cartoon.
What's that?
Disc golf cartoon.
Oh,
Disc golf cartoon?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melton.
Yeah.
See,
Oh, he'd be
oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean,
main character. He and
Yeah.
Eric Oakley would be like
that
their own fucking
that
show.
would be
but
its own show.
yeah.
That
Dude,
definitely.
they could have like a disc golf reality show just based on
Yeah.
those two. They're so good in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I just picture like Zach Melton hosting that shit. Sorry, I used to be able to talk. I just pictured
saying
Zach
that.
Melton like having a show like Mr. Rogers or something.
Oh,
where he just-
God, that would be
just walks
so
in
good.
Yeah.
First of all, my last name's Rogers. Second of all, yes, I do own a shit ton of sweaters.
Next podcast. Break
Right.
this sweater.
Dude, we got it, man. You
I
would
guess
make a
now
good
we're-
Mr. Rogers type
Yeah.
show too. That would be really good.
That would be-
We gotta make that happen.
Mr.
I mean,
Rogers' Neighborhood.
We're in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood
I
right
know,
now.
it's- yeah,
obviously.
Technically. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
We got to get like the most epic train set ever for the podcast studio.
Triple Encontra.
Hey,
Some puppets.
I actually own a couple model trains.
Oh, snap.
I'm just
Turtles
saying. I
and
told you.
trains.
I told you I was a nerd. I wasn't kidding.
Turtles, trains, and Star Trek. Oh, my.
Speaking of the Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz, I
I
also
just-
like musicals. Yeah.
You remember a little
you
while
up
ago
right
when
there,
you were
didn't
all
you?
worried that you jumped off topic?
I
That's
love
what-
it.
Disc,
I love it.
wait, disc golf musical. Who would be in the, if you had to take touring pros, who would be in a disc golf musical?
Oh man. Well, I know Simon plays guitar, so I don't know.
Who are the musical people? I know a lot of people probably.
A lot of them play an instrument, man.
Yeah.
Brian Earhart for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've
Chris?
actually got pictures of Dr. Hoy jamming with Brian at Ogwood.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
And
love-
rapping, Zoe Andike
Yep.
rap battle.
yeah.
Yep. She could freestyle.
They could do like a
really
Hamilton
well.
style disc golf.
Yeah.
musical.
This could go somewhere.
I think
$1 million ideas.
Yeah.
We're just giving them away.
we're just giving them away.
Everything that says disc golf on it is doing well right now. So
Yeah,
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 that's true.
exactly. It's manufacturers don't have like getting discs and getting big orders. Like,
oh yeah.
it's,
Nobody has anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I like West Side discs a lot, and
Yeah.
like it's before the COVID thing. It's like I never really knew many people that threw it,
Yeah.
and like so anything I wanted, like that I could try, I could just order it right off Infinite. Now like just not any West Side disc anyway.
Yeah, we were trying to get some hard harps because we got like the soft and medium and the burst hard harps. It's like you can't find them.
Yeah.
And lucid wardens. Everybody likes those wardens. We can find judges, no wardens.
Yep. There was
Okay.
a long period of time where moonshine wardens were always available on TFRs.
Oh yeah.
I would get them every single time we ordered discs just because I knew at some point you're not going to
Yeah.
be able to get that.
Yeah.
Were you always musical? Like, how old were you when you started playing? Was guitar your first instrument?
It was not my first instrument. My first instrument was mandolin, actually. Because my dad was like, he liked folk music and stuff like that, and took me to a couple of those shows, and I just needed an outlet. I just needed something to play, and I was like, I want to play that. I was 8. I started when I was 8 years old, and it just I think they figured out he and my mom figured out pretty quickly that like it wasn't just a fad thing, that like I wanted to do it. You know, I wanted to. So I've spent hours and hours reading comic books and playing mandolin.
Nice,
I had tons of friends.
So you were,
Did you play Magic the Gathering by chance?
I did not.
you know that weird kid down the street that's always carrying around that miniature guitar? Yeah.
I saw him on TV.
I mean, my nickname was Banjo Boy for a long time, and it wasn't in like a loving nickname way.
It wasn't a term of endearment. Yeah.
No, it was not.
There's a guy that works at Vanderbilt that walks around literally with a banjo on a string over his shoulder constantly. Like, he'll be walking the halls just playing real softly, and then he'll go to push a wheelchair and he'll just sling it around behind his back and push the wheelchair. And then he's just practicing constantly while he's walking down the halls.
If I didn't need medical help, I would then.
So you weren't pressured into it. It was something that you were instantly, like, naturally drawn to.
And my grandma played piano and ukulele, and like I stayed with her a lot when I was a kid, and so like the first time I ever held an instrument was a ukulele, and she taught me some like chords when I was even younger than that there. So it's always kind of been a thing, and I always like to sing. You know, like my sister's got videos of me like 6 years old just running around with a hairbrush like it was a microphone and singing in my underwear.
Yeah. Superstar.
So how many instruments do you play?
I play mandolin, guitar. I toy around with a few other things, but really that's as far as like what I would put on a business card. I play mandolin and guitar.
That's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
I bet being versed at mandolin makes you a commodity in a town like Nashville.
Yeah, it did. What's funny is like what made me more like it got me more work than anything was being able to sing harmony.
Oh yeah,
because I've always that's another thing that I did with my grandma and my mom. You know, I sang harmonies with them to all these hymns and church stuff, and so like being and that's what I really moved here for, was like, you know, if everything goes well, I might be able to get a job singing harmony somewhere. And, but that got me in a lot of places. I was surprised at how many people aren't that good at it.
Oh yeah,
like
it's
even
surprising.
here.
Like talented musicians,
yeah,
can't do harmony.
Yeah, and that kind of blew my mind. You know, I was around these people that I'm like, now this dude's a really good singer, and he can't sing harmony. So
it's interesting. You'll see a lot of people that are talented singers that will come in and try to sing a harmony with somebody, and they will mimic the pitch.
Yep,
exactly. But they just don't have. I don't know if it's to do with their ear or what, but a lot of people just can't tune down that octave or whatever or up that octave or whatever to sing a harmony. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a town of musicians, it would be weird if you like a lead singer or something like they don't, or musicians that can't do harmony, but
yeah,
you find your role and then
it's like people that refuse to throw forehands. It's like, yeah, it might work. There's like two
Yeah.
people that can do that.
Yeah.
Look, I just learned it this year. So.
I don't know.
I saw a mean forehand ace today.
Oh yeah,
Sharp Springs.
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
The video,
that dude posted. Yeah,
I didn't see it. Who hit it? Who hit what?
I
What's his
don't
name?
remember
Chris
his
or
name.
something like that.
I
I'll have to bring
definitely
it up for you. Just give me a bit.
Definitely saw it. Caleb McKinney got an ace yesterday at Baker
Yeah.
King.
Shout out to Caleb breaking that ace cherry. Finally got him one.
Michael Holland gets all the rest of the aces.
Yeah, it's
everywhere.
not leaving him and Mike McDaniel. Leave no aces for anyone.
We gave Michael Holland shit because he aced the short position of hole 10 this summer at Wednesday night tags with a Zeus.
Yeah,
He like threw it on a crazy hyzer.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how you throw that hole.
I was
He
standing
throws
on.
straight like it's like 180 feet or 170 feet. He throws a driver, 12-speed driver.
Dude, I can tell you one even better than that. This is we were playing Glow at Two Rivers. It's like not like a group thing or anything. We just decided let's go play some Glow at Two Rivers. It was like 6 or 8 of us. I can't remember. But so we get to hole 16. You know, the one it's like down the hill. It's kind of long, but you got those routes over there. And so Michael goes up to it, and my buddy Rick was playing with us too. And he's getting ready to throw a backhand, and Rick's like, "Man, with your forehand, you should just forehand it over here and do that." And Michael's like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, this is the wrong disc, but whatever." And he just chucks it, and like you hear this like. You didn't hear chains or anything. You just heard it. It sounded like it hit the basket, and we get down there and it's in it. And I'm like, dude, he just accidentally aces more than
Accidental
anybody I know.
aces. Yeah, exactly. Was that Rick Garner?
Yeah, Rick Garner.
Nice.
Holland's another one that got real good real fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And dude, I honestly, I think playing with Michael as much as I have has helped my game like more than anything else that I can like point to that I've done. But just like playing with him and kind of watching how he approaches things. It's
How's his backhand recently?
like really good lately.
Yeah,
really good.
Guess who gave him some advice?
You did, yeah.
I don't know, the guy with the blazer hat?
And he even told me that because we were out playing around, and he's like, "Dude, I played around with Marcus. He was giving me tips on backhand stuff." And I was like, "Well, I can tell somebody did."
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. I know when Stokely was in town, Dr. Hoy got a couple lessons from him and was talking about how Stokely finally taught him how to do sidearm drive.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm really interested to see Dr. Hoy throw a sidearm drive because I want to see. Because if you went, because I was familiar with how your sidearm was, and we played pretty mirror games, and I have no sidearm drive, and we went out and played Seven Oaks yesterday, and dude, that Stokely lesson paid off. This guy can sidearm a country mile now.
Yeah, and I accidentally threw a roller that actually worked out too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's called a thrower.
Haven't dialed it in yet. Yeah.
So here's a random question.
Love it.
Casual round of disc golf. You're playing music. You're the DJ, or whether you're solo and you got headphones in. What are you listening to? What's your playlist like?
Oh man, I actually have a playlist in my phone that God, I hate that I gotta say the name of it out loud, but I have a chain banging playlist. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everybody has something similar.
So
you
bang chains, man?
You banging them
dude.
chains, bro?
What you playing, bro?
It's got a ton of stuff on it. A lot of like '90s hip hop, and then some stuff like Snarky Puppy and like just weird stuff like that. But it's pretty. It's pretty diverse, but a lot of '90s and early 2000s hip hop and R&B mostly.
Is that on Spotify?
No, it's just my.
I feel like we need to share that share that somehow with the.
I'll screenshot the screenshot the playlist and send it to.
Yeah, screenshot it and send it to me. I'll put it in the break.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because, like, having known you before I knew that you played music, and then knowing what kind of the kind of music that you play with Ashley McBryde. And just kind of listening to you talk and knowing, like, seeing your style and everything, thinking about it in my head, I just for whatever reason I was just like, I bet he listens to some like really good hip hop. Like, I bet if you hijacked his Spotify, he's probably got some like really good hip hop on his playlist.
Dude, I listen to everything. Like like if you go through just my iTunes library, you'll go from like some really hardcore hip hop to barbershop chord.
Oh, I'm sure it's incredibly eclectic. Everybody that I know personally that works in music, like that is super talented in music, they listen to really random stuff.
I mean, I feel like
and those are the best people to talk to about like what they listen to, because
I feel like you kind of have to. I feel like if you're a musician and you only listen to this type of music, I feel like you're doing yourself a really big disservice, because there's something to learn from everything. I mean, music is music. Genre is something that we created. You know, it's not, there's no such thing as genre. There's just music. It's either, there's two genres. There's good music and bad music. And, and it's like, why can't you just take a little bit from all of that? And like, that's kind of, I mean, if you listen to a whole set of stuff that I wrote, you could notice that too, because there's no real direction. It's just kind of a,
has that ever
like a Waffle House jukebox? There's no real connection.
Speaking of which, I know some of the Waffle House songs. The Special Lady at the Waffle House and all that kind of stuff.
No, it's
oh my God. So
I haven't heard about this.
So if anytime you're in a Waffle House, the next time go look at the jukebox. There's a few songs that are actual Waffle House songs. Special lady waiting for me at the Waffle House. Swear to God, it's on the jukebox.
I'm gonna have to look for that.
I feel like the next time I'm in a Waffle House, I might not remember that, because usually I go to Waffle Houses at certain times.
Yeah, I know those times.
Hey, is anybody got special lady? I want to make a request.
That's probably one of those secret menu items where if you order it, you get some drugs mixed in with your hash browns or something.
Oh my God! it got to the point when there was a Waffle House
Scattered,
across
covered,
from my
mushed, and
apartment.
laced.
The Waffle House across from my first apartment, they basically forbid me from playing it because I would go in there like 2 o'clock in the morning, just play it over and over. Listen to this song; it's great.
You walk in and it's like
You playing so good.
Yeah.
it's
I
almost
don't
like
care what
Cheers.
they
You walk
say.
in and everybody goes, "Hey, Chris." Ah.
The
Basically,
jukebox is broken, Chris.
I feel it's kind of terrible that I went into the Waffle House enough that they knew me, but
Yeah.
they definitely did. I could walk there from my apartment,
Yeah,
so it was
hey,
great.
it's-
It's one of the greatest. It's an American institution.
Oh, absolutely.
for sure. So yeah, if you had to give somebody a tip of the week,
Just a tip.
you want to tell them?
Just a tip.
You want to tell
Pineapple.
It sounds like he already. Sorry, it sounds like he already knows.
I said it
about
at
just
my,
a
I
tip.
said it
Oh,
at my
he
job
knows.
right now.
So-
It's so funny,
Yeah.
man. It's not good at all. But yeah, man, you're already like experienced in getting started in the world of disc golf. So what do you give a tip for the new golfers out there?
But give me just the tip.
Okay, I'll tell you one that at least it matters. It happens a lot to me, and I have to do it. In fact, I sent you a video of part of my round today, and I said exactly this in the video: short putts matter. Like whatever your routine is for your 30-foot putt, do the same thing for a 10-foot putt. Because I mean, at every tournament, which I have terrible tournament anxiety. I play my worst rounds in tournaments, but it seems like every tournament there's always one of those that you just walk up and you grab it and you chuck it, and I miss them. And it's
Yeah.
like if I could just do away with all of those little dink putts that should never be missed, then
Yeah.
Probably
a lot
drop
of my
a few
rounds
rating
would've been-
points.
Yeah, for sure.
You just
But-
had your first rated tournament, the Shelby Shootout, right?
It wasn't.
Or was
my
that
first-
last year?
That wasn't my first rated. I played several rated. I think 8 rated rounds now, or 8 rated tournaments now, and they've all that's probably 8 of the 10 worst rounds I've ever played. But
What's your rating though?
my rating right now, I think is 888, and I
Damn, already better than me.
I'd put you at
136
940 by the end of the year.
929.
Yep.
Okay.
So and that's about to go down because I shit the bed at Shelby Shootout pretty bad.
Yeah.
How about that layout though?
Oh,
That course is fun, right?
It would have been a lot more fun had I not driven from New Jersey overnight the night before and got there. But I was not on my best game or behavior that day. If my card mates that were playing with either one of those rounds are listening today, I apologize for being a tool bag.
Man,
Oh man,
I'll tell you, dude.
Not to them, but I was really
It's
frustrated with my game.
it's
that day.
amazing how disc golf can put you through the range of emotion.
Oh my
You're like,
God.
From an
The
ace
worst.
to like, dude, I'm just
and teach
people
you so
are-
much about yourself as a
people are
person.
For
like,
me, it's
who
like-
is this guy?
For me, it's
Or
like
something
you can have a range of motions even on one drive alone.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's,
And the drive only takes like what max like 6 seconds. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna hit the tree. All right, finish strong. Don't skip.
Yeah.
Come on. I gotta roll away.
I'm in a
Fuck.
glass case of emotions.
Isn't it amazing how there's certain throws and like you said it's 5 seconds worth of event that happens, but it seems like a day and
Oh, yeah.
I can remember the whole shot, and it just seems like it took hours for
Yeah.
it to get there. God, we're really some dorks, guys.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
Disc
it's
golf
beautiful.
And I love
dork. I
it.
love it.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't
proud.
trade it. Yeah,
And it's a pretty universal
proud disc golf dork.
It's a universal struggle
just
that
start a
everybody
movement?
has with that emotional
Oh
turmoil.
yeah, and that's a big. I've actually that's been my biggest struggle is keeping my emotions in check. Especially in tournament rounds and stuff, because I'm such an emotional person. Everything I do is based on that. I live that way, and there's some days where I'm playing bad and I just act just as bad, and then I'm always afterwards I'm never even thinking about how bad I played. I'm like, oh, that was embarrassing.
All right, so are you a hyzer putter, flat putter?
Pretty flat putter.
Pretty flat. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I,
I can already diagnose the problem just by what you've said right now. We can fix it. I know. I got something for you.
Coach Rogers.
I know the dilemmas of putting flat.
That's why I put on the blazer.
I'll take you up on that for sure.
He's got a chalkboard right behind him, blackboard. Yeah,
What's a really weird and unsettling experience is the first time where it happens on the other end of the spectrum, where because you'll go through years of struggling to control your negative emotions and stay out of your head when you're having a bad round, And like, it's something that everybody struggles with, but I've like walked out of league rounds. Like I'm just, and simply because I was in such a bad mood and enjoying myself so little that I didn't want to affect the good round that everybody else was going to have. So I would just leave, separate myself from the situation, which still feel bad about that. But what's really weird is when like one day, randomly out of the blue, you're putting lights out, you're playing the best disc golf you've ever played. And now all of a sudden the people that are around you that are having a bad round, you know what I mean? Like when you realize that all of a sudden you're that guy that was playing really good and having a really good time while you were having a terrible round. And it's like, I realized like, man, these guys won't even talk to me because I'm playing so good. It's like when that happens. And then, so it's just another consideration, like equal and opposite, but conducting and carrying yourself in a, like just the full breadth of the definition of good sportsmanship. It's not just not being an asshole when you're pissed and you're not playing good, but it's also having grace and humility when you're playing really well and not alienating the people around you that, you know what I mean? It's a really hard line to walk.
Yeah.
And
I found that I get quieter, especially in sanction
When you're
sanction rounds. Well,
I mean,
I'm just saying,
if you're doing well.
if I'm like playing, like my best rounds have been like the quietest round. Like we haven't been like, hey man, great shot, what'd you throw on that, or this. Like I've been, interacting with the group and telling my score, not like, but I'll like walk behind the group or ahead, like, and I'm not meaning to, but then people are like, oh yeah, you're pretty quiet that round, and it was like a boring, quiet round, but those have been my best rounds. Like
I played
I don't know if
a good ton of like pro rounds, and it seems like for me, from my point of view, like the majority of people that's like doing well, those top two people are the best friends in the world.
yeah.
Dude, oh, you
that's
did
true.
great, man. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your mama okay? Yeah, man, she's doing good.
Yeah.
Man. How about that car? Dude, that car is great, bro. Like, you got that one
I think
person that
that's
just like missed the
Cam and
fairway.
Matty-O.
You got that one person in the back that missed the fairway, and he's like, I wish I was
I
part
think
of that
that's an
conversation.
important
over there.
part, because if you think about it, I was having this discussion with Telly, mental bandwidth during a round. You only got so much.
yeah.
And if you're focused the entire time and walking up to the next, because we were actually talking about Ogwood, the walk between 4 and 6, like and if you're just thinking about that next shot so long, it's the same like the walk to 17 at USDGC. From 16 to 17, it's like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
And that hole is like the easiest hole if you're just out there with your buddies. You could hit it every time. But then it comes around and you're thinking about it and the cameras are on you. And every year that hole takes somebody
Eats
out.
some people alive.
Takes somebody out of the tournament. And it's like you only have so much bandwidth to like keep it together. You got to almost have some other topics to talk about. And so that's when you're saying like talking about asking how about somebody's family or something, or the football's on, or then you kind of get your mind off the subject for a second.
Well, I got that from Climo and Barry Schultz at Ravenwood.
Okay.
David Tang had brought me over, and we had a good long conversation about that, and that definitely came up how they would, kind of like get their mind off of this subject matter of disc golf while they were walking in between the holes or this, that, and whatever, and then when they get to the hole, then actually focusing in right there. They're saying like disc golf is, only a short amount of time. That's when you need to focus, but the rest of the time, just try not to focus. Try to get on something else.
Yeah, because you see, like the best players are like the least focused in between holes.
Yeah.
Like how's this work? How are you like the most laid back?
Well, a lot
like
of the people
person
that are
serious.
known for playing the most consistent golf, I've heard a lot of them say that, and this is probably one of the hardest things to achieve in playing this game, is being able to let every hole go after you pick up your disc and walk away from it. Whether whether you play, it was good or it was bad, whether you're happy or you're sad. When you pick your disc up out of the basket, you let it go and you leave it behind, and it's over. And then you go clean slate until you are on the tee pad of your next hole, and it's like shot by shot. You treat it. It's a one and done. It's not, you know what I mean? Immediately you're going into so you take a double bogey. Now you're thinking about all the birdies that you had, and 2 of them are gone, and you're thinking about, well, now I have to play for this score instead of this score, and then you immediately just becomes this big downward spiral, and then you're still expending that bandwidth that you're talking about, but it's not even being expended on playing disc golf.
Yeah, it's not helping.
It's totally just draining your mental energy and your acuity away from you. It's crazy. If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Green.
Good.
Kermit the Frog.
Ford or Chevy?
Chevy.
That happens to be the color of the podcast.
Chevy guy.
Chevy guy. I also approve.
I drive a Toyota, but yeah.
Oh,
I come from a Chevy family. So.
That's just a reasonable decision for an adult to make.
Absolutely.
I
was
those are
like,
very
what?
reliable.
Yeah,
that resale value in like 16 years is still gonna be like over 10 grand somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, I almost got my car paid off.
I'm gonna drive that
Oh, yeah.
thing until it
Oh, yeah.
falls into the ground.
I like how you waited until it was almost paid off to wreck it in a parking garage.
Yeah, Ford Fusion, baby.
But that just every day that Fusion ages is just one step closer to the Yukon XL.
That's my dream car. Black Yukon XL, leather, 4-wheel drive.
Speaking of which, man, I saw a very unfortunate thing on my way over here. It was pretty close. Beautiful. You know, you're always talking about how you got truck envy. Beautiful murdered out Silverado. Smashed.
Ugh.
Getting picked up by a tow truck by a wrecker out here on White Bridge.
Well, I saw a homeless guy peeing in the median on the bridge at Rosa Parks on the way here. So
Yeah, that'll happen.
yeah, like just right there. I'm sitting at a stoplight and he's just whips it out and pees in the median.
so maybe that's why the Chevy
Also
got
reasonable.
into a wreck, because he saw the guy peeing.
Yeah.
Good thing you weren't at Cedar Hill.
Wow, full circle
asking
right
for
there.
that.
There we go.
You know those like random things that creep in your head?
Did
and
you
it's
come
like,
out here to play?
Yeah.
You
Well, see,
see,
that's
someone to play with.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
Did you tell him how to
Someone
park?
play with? Yeah.
Dude, like I've been.
Where's your discs?
I remember MCO was over one year, and I was standing up in the parking lot over by hole 910, and I was talking to Dave Westerman and Don Zapecki, and we were just kind of talking as you end up doing with Dave Westerman and Don Zapecki. Shout golf snaps to those guys. But it was funny, like the sun was going down, it was getting just slowly, gradually darker, and more people. It was like every once in a while I'd look over at the pavilion, and there would be like 2 more guys than were there 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It was like nobody was saying anything to anybody, but as the sun was getting down, more guys were just appearing under this pavilion, sitting at tables, like not associating with each other, just sitting at the pavilion but separate, like almost like they were waiting for a designated time to begin a ritual or something like that. And it's like those dangerous curiosities you get in your mind where you know that if you like pursue them or follow them, that you're going to end up going into a really bad place.
Yeah.
But it's like, I wonder, like, what is the website where these guys like talk back and forth and they say they agree to meet at hole 9 and 10 at the disc golf course at Cedar Hill, and
Hole 9 and 9.
then what do they do when they get there? It's like, you guys are obviously waiting something. Are you only not saying anything to each other because we're standing in the parking lot? It's like as soon as
Once the outsiders have gone.
is it as
that's
soon
when the
as we
meeting will
drive away,
start.
then all of a sudden you guys start drawing straws, or do you do it like we do, random draw dubs, and we just like draw a card or poker chips or something like that? Like, how does it work out? Because you guys are in a group here, so is it like
They don't flip discs.
is it all for one for all, or is it like you
Right.
guys pairing up? Is it random draw or bring your own partner? Is it what's the
It's one of-
arrangement?
it's
here?
one of those things I'm afraid to Google.
Poker chips.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that you can't help but wonder about. You know what I mean? Like,
Bring your own partner.
You don't want to. That was so funny. I unplugged my headphones.
Poker chips.
Bring your own partner singles.
we should play more team events. Oh, good old Cedar Hill.
That's the beauty. It's such a good course, but it also has the craziest.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, I've definitely been approached a couple of times, and it was always like when I was like waiting for someone to show, like waiting on whoever I was playing
Yeah.
with. So now, whenever I get there, I just go and play holes till someone else
Yeah,
gets there. I'm like, I'm gonna
This is a
make it
safe
very
space.
clear what
Yeah,
I'm here for.
yeah, exactly.
Man, it's crazy. It's like it seems like it was just yesterday, but it also, in a different way, seems like it's been centuries since I started playing disc golf. But just all the memories that accumulate that are so like intrinsically tied to locations.
Yeah.
Just thinking about Cedar Hill and all the crazy stuff that has gone down there that I've been witness to over the years. Like
But
we
also
had,
the good shots.
Yeah, I had a birthday at Ogwood and had like everybody there, so signed my like one disc. And I just really
Yeah.
love it. You know, it's like
Nice.
50 some odd signatures on it. It's like great experience.
yeah, man.
Did you hit any aces? Has anybody
It's been
ever
a
aced
while.
on their birthday?
Not in here.
I know
I
people
don't
always
know.
post
I don't know
that.
for sure. Yeah.
Like, hit
No.
that birthday ace, but
Right.
does it?
That's the
does
setup
it
right
happen?
there. Right when they said it, it's over.
My birthday's in March, so it's usually cold and windy.
Damn.
It's not, but then again, I'm not sure that I've ever actually played on my birthday. I'm sure I did
maybe.
a few when I first got into it. I was
Yeah.
writing for a living, so I played like every day.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I did then.
It's there was something I was going to say. We were talking about. It was during the break. We were talking about kind of something about you being on the podcast, and it's like been a weird like evolving strategy that I use when I'm like thinking about guests to have on the show. Because it started out, it was almost like if we're going to have a guest, let's make it somebody that everybody will see their name and be like, oh, let's watch it. You know what I mean? Like it'll draw more people in. And then after you do it for a couple of years, it's almost like, you know, I've gotten to the point now where really, you know, we're going to continue to make investments in the show and make it better. And we're getting better as we do it more and all that stuff. But I'm more like curating the show for, I mean, I'm trying to be cognizant of what other people want to see, but like what I'm interested in. And one of my favorite things about disc golf has always been one of my favorite things about disc golf is the people that play it. And the fact that they're so diverse and there's so many people from so many different backgrounds and walks of life that play disc golf. And that you can go out and play around a disc golf and be on a card with a pastor, a cop, and a homeless guy.
Yeah.
And or then in the second round, you're on a card with somebody that plays in a band with a Grammy-nominated band, and a guy that does tech support, and somebody that works at a car wash. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
But every time you go out and you play disc golf, and whenever you meet somebody new, it's like there's always that one thing that you when you're getting to know them and having conversations, and it's like something super interesting or fascinating about them.
Yep.
And it may not have anything at all to do with disc golf. Could be their occupation, could be whatever. And so a lot of times when I'm like, if I'm kind of projecting and thinking down the road, or I have like a short list of people that I'm thinking would be good candidates to be on the show or whatever, but it's always like who's interesting, like who could, you know, and it's just like, so, you know, I was friends with you and appreciated you as a person before I knew that you played music, and now just like seeing that other side of you is super interesting. And I think it's cool. It's a cool way to introduce the people that make up our disc golf community to our disc golf community.
Yeah.
You know, share that story with other,
and maybe
with our
bridge
family.
other audiences.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe somebody likes music, tunes into this, and they're like, "What's disc golf? I got to try that." Or,
Yeah.
you know, somebody.
Yeah. And we'll talk off the air too about some other ways to bridge the gap between music and disc golf.
That's like the ultimate goal for me. Like if there's some way that I could fuse the two things I'm passionate about together, music and disc golf, you know, that's
National
the
tour,
ultimate.
Music City.
Don't let that
Open.
cat out of the bag yet, but I got an opportunity.
Awesome.
We're going to talk off the air about that.
I got a wedding coming up too. Just put that out there.
All right.
Look,
I'm available for whatever needs to be done. I got nothing but
I ain't
time.
doing shit.
I'm pretty much just playing disc golf.
I got so bored, I just throw frisbees now.
I'm just ready for some kind of disc golf lyric or something to make it into a song.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna work on that when I get home.
Okay.
If you can get Ashley to sing the word Heiser.
I mean, I'm a big fan of like Weird Al Yankovic, so we can like I can make this happen.
We can
okay?
parody this thing.
Dude,
for
you
sure.
thought when we started this
Yeah.
episode, I was just joking, dude. I make remixes, okay?
Dude, we got some microphones and some cameras.
I'm
we can
ready
get
to
real
see it,
creative
yeah.
in here. We can get real creative.
I missed the putt.
Oh,
I missed the putt. I missed the putt. It was something I would never ever do again.
Sailing, floating away somewhere I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
like a little Fresh Prince remix.
Funny Fresh Prince reference. Like when I was in college, I got so sick of playing Wagon Wheel that when anyone would request it, I would play the chords to Wagon Wheel and sing the Fresh Prince theme song. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my.
Hell yeah.
See, he's already talking about the playground.
That's a nice mashup
I
right there.
pulled up to Seven Oaks about 7 or 8, and I yelled. See, it's too easy, bro. I'm just saying.
Great, man.
I'm so ready for this, dude. You pick the song, I'll make a disc golf remix out of it. I promise.
Yeah, we could totally do that. Well, you want to play us out?
Yeah, man.
You got a couple more you want to hit us with?
Sure. I'll play you the title track of Ashley's record. And funny story. I wrote this with Ashley. You know.
It's called Never Will, everybody.
Yeah, it is. And I wrote it with her for her to sing it. So like I never even sang the song myself until until it was on Kimmel the other day, and I was like, oh, I should probably know how to play that.
People are going to start requesting this.
Yeah, people are going to request it, so I should know it. But anyway, here it is. I heard go on and go, but just know where you're going's a dead end. And playing in bars only makes you the star of the house band. And sometimes the hardest part was just to keep playing. And I've been gone long ago if I listened to what they were saying. You know it's gonna change you. You look in the mirror some night and you'll see a stranger. But you gotta play the game if you ever wanna play to the big crowds. You've gone as far as you'll ever go unless you're willing to sell out. Boy, sell out. Say money and fame will just go to your head if you get it. Oh, but they never did understand all the reasons we did it. And I can point out the names and the faces of the people who said it. Oh, but honestly, I just don't want them to get any credit.
Dude, beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Freaking
Yeah,
beautiful.
awesome.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Man. Marcus got some cool bonus footage of you.
Sweet.
I know. That's awesome, man. That was killer.
Yeah, that's such
Wrote
a good
it,
song.
sang it, and played it.
I love that artful
Awesome.
disclaimer right before you played the song too. Is like, I wrote this, but I'm still learning it, so bear with me.
I mean, when we wrote the song, honestly, like I wasn't sure it was going to make the record. I certainly didn't know it was going to be the title track, and even after that, like there was never any plan of it being a single or anything. It just happened to be what Kimmel requested. So it was like, oh boy, now I need to know the song. All I've had to do before was play guitar and sing harmony on it. You know, now I got to know all the words, which obviously I don't quite know yet.
You got it, man.
For somebody, I mean, that spends the majority of their time playing guitar and singing harmonies, man, you are just a really talented wordsmith. I mean, that.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I did a lot of reading when I was a kid. You know, like I still do a lot of reading, but I've always liked language. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, man, I got so many questions.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was killer.
I was
Because you're
thinking-
working on a solo record, you're going to be releasing at some
Finished
point
it.
in the near future.
Yeah, I finished the record. I now it's just about putting it out, and I've been working on the record for 4 years. I mean, that's mostly, some of it was because of touring, and other parts just because I'm the ultimate procrastinator. I keep trying to go to Procrastinators Anonymous meetings, but they keep getting postponed.
stand-up comedy.
Hey,
this guy.
Second career.
I love it.
How does it? I mean, that's got to be a weird feeling for such a big part of your career to be. Because I know the way it feels to be creative and to write a song and to do something like that. Each one kind of feels like a small piece of you, like a child.
they are your children.
So that's got to be a really, really weird dynamic to have in your life, to be like constantly like you're making your way through life by selling your children.
Yeah.
Like-
And you know, the other thing about it too that you know a lot of people don't realize is, like, you know, with most songwriters, I mean, if you listen to enough of their catalog, it is basically an audio diary. Like, I mean, everything is from experience, you know, mostly. And so if you get into people like I get in deep to songwriters, you know, people that most people haven't even heard of, and like I'll go and listen through their catalogs, and like you can find out so much about somebody because, you know, when you start noticing the themes and things like that that come into people's writing, I think it's just it's an ultimate expression, really.
Have you ever listened to James McMurtry?
I don't think I have.
Dude, look him up.
Okay.
He's got a bunch of great stuff, but he has one of those voices. It's almost like a Bob Dylan or Willie Nelson, where it's like they're not the A-list singer, but his guitar playing and his lyrics, his songwriting is just. He's got these. Sometimes we listen to one of his songs, and a certain line that he says will just like stick to you. And so one of his lines that popped into my head when I was we were just after you finished the song, we were starting to talk about it. Was like one of his lines was, "Were those songs real or did you make them up?" You know what I mean? It's like being that personal to you. Was that song like representative of like any particular part? I know it's obviously each song is tied to your life in some different kind of way, but was there a certain emotion or feeling or occurrence or something that was directly inspirational to that song? Or
yeah, to Never Will. Yes, there was. It's kind of Ashley and I's shared experiences, you know, and Ashley more so. 'Cause like I said, we wrote that, you know, for her, and that was our goal. But we shared a lot of the same experiences, and it's you go through. It's the progression of being a musician. You know, you start out and you're playing in like cover bands or something at bars, and people are like, "Oh yeah, that's good, but you should get a real job too." You know, and there's always that. And then when you start to succeed, you know, then people are like, "Oh yeah, but you know, if you want to do anything more, if you want to do anything bigger, you're gonna have to sell out and do the whatever." And then they get to the part where, oh yeah, well, you'll get too big for your britches eventually. And it's like, you people don't understand at all the purpose of this. Like, this was never to be famous. It was never to be rich. It was never.
I can't help this.
Yeah,
like
this is what I would be doing regardless of whether I was getting paid for it or not.
Right.
And that was kind of the idea behind that thing. It's like, no, this is just what I do, and deal with it.
Do you feel? I know a lot of songwriters have often compared it, like, or spoken of it or described it in the way that it's almost like this. You're not the person responsible for the material. Like, it's almost like it's coming through you from another place.
Exactly.
Like you're just a conduit for it.
Yeah, to me, like, the best songs I've ever written, the best way I know how to explain it, the good songs, it seems like you're remembering them rather than writing them.
Yeah.
It seems like it's something that was already there, out in the air, or something that was buried in your mind, and when you come across that line or that phrase, it's more like you're recalling it than writing it.
Yeah.
To me.
I've always had like a mantra. You should make a song off of it. Rather be remembered than be rich.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a free one for you too. Just go ahead.
I'll take that.
Just let me know.
Well, I mean, it's like,
I love it. I love it.
and I know that's how it feels too. It's like if you weren't like pursuing that, if you weren't writing songs and playing music, your life would go down the crapper. You'd start feeling like you wouldn't. That would not be a natural way for you to live. Yeah.
No, it's just. I mean, I mean, you literally eat, sleep, and breathe it. I mean, there's almost never a time where I'm not at least working on something song-wise, or like, I mean, even some people say things in rounds all the time when I'm playing that I'm like, take that and twist it a little bit, and that's gonna be a song.
There you go.
Especially like old dudes, like, and like you.
Rodney is probably gonna inspire a concept album.
What are you trying to say, bro? What are you trying to say?
Lick 'em.
I turn 40 next year. I'm almost in the 40 class next year. MP40.
But dude, that's where it, like, I got a bunch of song ideas from, like, I used to play golf, like ball golf, with a bunch of old dudes back home before I moved out to Nashville, and like there's been things that I took from them that have become songs over the years, and it's like, dude, advice generally, like, all that stuff translates to me. It all becomes music. Everything's a song, and this, like, just part of the soundtrack of my life kind of thing. And
it's really interesting that because, and it's unique to disc golf, but how much of the sport translates to life. Like, principles within the sport can translate into daily life and like real world scenarios and situations and stuff. And so when you're playing a round of disc golf with these guys that have been playing for years and years and years and years and years, and they're giving you advice on your throw, it's almost like disc golf has facilitated this opportunity for you to get this really sage life advice from this old wise, like medicine man, shaman type. But it's, we're just talking about, oh no, you just want to throw your frisbee like this, but I don't know, weird.
That's why one of the lines that always sticks out from the podcast was when Rodney was on, and he's like, amateurs will teach you how to play amateur
like
golf.
Amateurs, yep.
And I'm just like, that's a good one right there. Like,
yep.
What are you gonna play for us next, Chris?
Well, should I do something slow or fast or half-assed?
What are you feeling? What's on your heart?
How fast?
Well, right now,
follow your heart,
all right,
sir.
Well, I'll play you a song about being a songwriter. Is that all right?
Yes.
It's sort
that's
of
kind of
sad.
the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the pinnacle.
Right on topic. So that's good.
Yeah. It's sort of a sad one, but it's just because songwriting tends to be a sad career sometimes.
Sometimes.
We wait all of our lives to wait tables and make just enough to stay and make sense. Picking up shifts and having to pick between making rent and making friends. There's no going back, and you ain't got to cash for the gas if you wanted to. The struggle is real. We sweat over internal rhymes in the lines and the phrases that, We sweat over internal rhymes in the lines and the phrasing of made up words, knowing that no one will notice but us, how we busted our butts on this verse. And 1/10 of a cent for 10,000 spins, split 3 ways, sure ain't much. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. For everyone that gets a shot in the spotlight, there's 1,000 left out in the dark. And the only ones making any money are the pawn shops and the bars. I've gotta remind myself sometimes that I'm here on my own free will. The dream is a dream. The struggle is real. been here long enough to see people blow up, then give up and go home and come back. I had songs that were cut just in time to be cut from the record the day it was tracked. And during my tenure in town, this 10-year town's turned into 15. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. For everyone that gets a shot in the spotlight, there's 1,000 left out in the dark. And the only ones making any money are the pawn shops and the bars. I've gotta remind myself sometimes that I'm here on my own free will. The dream is a dream. The struggle is real. And ooh, they say, ooh, one is all it takes. But for everyone that gets a shot in the spotlight, there's 1,000 left out in the dark. And the only ones making any money are the pawn shops and the bars. I've gotta remind myself sometimes that I'm here on my own free will. The dream is a dream. The struggle is real. The dream is a dream. Struggle is real.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Chris Harris, everybody. Oh, man. I just looked at the time and realized we've been through a warp. I hope you weren't needed at home at any certain time.
No,
Okay.
I'm good. I set the crock pot to leave before I left.
Nice.
To go right before I left, so it's good. My girlfriend's fed. Everything's great.
That's
Awesome.
Man, I can't thank you enough for coming by and
Man.
hanging out with us, talking and playing some tunes for us.
I appreciate you having me, man. As a fan of the podcast and as a fan of you guys.
No,
and
it's
friends.
awesome, man.
I had Marcus muted. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know.
Yeah, dude, that is super cool. Man, and it's like there's no live music now, so we got
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'm
all
kinda
boring
like,
in
we
here
just
now.
got a free
Yeah.
concert.
Yeah, we just-
That's awesome, man.
so many people are going to be super jealous of this.
There is a different feeling when you're listening to it live.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. It's the energy. I mean,
It didn't sound bad in here either. It's like,
No,
No, it sounds
yeah,
great.
no, the Sapphire Lounge.
I've definitely, as I said earlier, I've played venues with worse sound. So
Now booking Sapphire Lounge.
That's true, that.
I think it's a different experience too when you're hearing a song from the person that wrote it, like when you're hearing it played
Yeah.
by the person that wrote
it
it.
always is to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like if you want to know how the song is supposed to feel.
Yeah,
That's-
that's
And I think that the same can be true too, or the opposite can be true as well. You know, like I mean, are some people that were just made to sing certain songs.
Absolutely.
Because there's songs that have come out years and decades in prior, and then in modern times somebody will come back in and do a cover of it, and you're like, oh my god, it's like you're hearing it for the first time.
And prime example, I mean, I love Dolly Parton. I feel like she is one of the greatest songwriters of ever. And I mean, that's kind of hard to argue.
Yeah.
But Whitney Houston was meant to sing "I Will Always Love You."
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Period.
She was
Like,
born to sing that
was-
song.
Like, I mean, and I love Dolly Parton's version, but that's the version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
the one you remember. Yeah, it's like the Anagata Devita. The only version anybody remembers is the special 9-minute long version. You know what I mean? Freebird, the 7.5. I'm just kidding. It's just, there's no relation there. There's no correlation. But yes, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us and playing for us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's a treat for our audience. I hope you guys
Awesome.
enjoyed it. Let's see those comments and those rates and reviews. And where can people follow you on social media? And Ashley.
You can find me as that Chris Harris on almost anything. There's a Chris Harris fan page on Facebook. I did not start my own fan page, by the way. I don't want there to be. I don't want
It was
anybody
your
to
mom,
think
right?
I.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, some Ashley fans started it. And they showed up at a show with a bunch of Chris Harris fan club shirts on.
Oh,
and
that's
I was
awesome.
Like, what the hell? So
People love
so
me.
cool.
yeah, but there's a group out there on Facebook. I think it's Chris Harris fan club or something. I don't know,
That's
something
awesome.
like that. But that Chris Harris is my handle on just about everything. So.
Awesome, man. Any other new, things that you would like to put out on the airwaves before we get out of here?
Don't leave trash on the disc golf course. Never leave trash on the disc golf course. If you do, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
We're talking to you.
Yeah. Also, check out Ashley's music, and hopefully you like it. If you don't, keep it to yourself. And look for my
Solid.
stuff when it comes out. And
Do you have a working title for your project?
I don't yet.
Do you have a date? Or
I don't have a date for sure. I'm working out artwork right now. So
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's been episode 24 of The Last Cash. We will catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in. And, yeah, catch you guys on the flip. Peace.
Let the bass kick.